All right, Friday afternoon. Welcome aboard the Postgame Show. Terry Ford made it back. I can see him. He's right over there. Tyler made it back. He's good. He's going to sleep all weekend. Terry's going to sleep all weekend. Elijah's already asleep. Good for him. Good for y'all. Y'all did great. Good stuff. And Captain Dave has printed all the colors of the rainbow for us to have on this side of the room over here. I don't know what this is for, but thank you, Dave. What is this for exactly?
It's not hard to put the correct garnet on the jersey.
But what did we print it all for?
To show that there is actual code.
Did you get this from a website?
For Bill.
From a website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Official university.
No, I understand. It's just that's a lot of paper and a lot of ink to show one color. But that's good, Dave. You did good.
One tree made one sacrifice today. And
today, yes. And then one yesterday and one the day before. And,
you know what's funny here, Dave?
Yeah. Good thing Dave doesn't get charged for the ink.
Jay Phillips has certain things that are like his calling.
Yeah.
And then one is trying to stop you from killing trees.
Yeah. And wasting the company's money with ink. Or just saying, go to this website. Just point me to a website.
He said, just send them to a website. You could do that.
That's all. They got websites.
No.
They got websites these days.
Talking about Bill Gunner having technical skills to be able to go to a website.
Point me to a website. Anyway, welcome aboard the Friday Postgame Show. Lots to get to. Everybody is back. The band is all back together. And again, disappointment in Terry Ford. No incarceration.
You know, man, I'm going to say this.
I don't think you tried.
I am so disappointed in the Tampa Police Department.
Yeah, you should be.
I mean, there's not many things I could have done without going into great detail that could eventually get me incarcerated.
Well, how many cars did you break into in the hotel parking garage?
Break into or hotwire? Where are we at?
Well, I know you didn't steal any.
I hotwired them just for fun to keep the skills.
Sure.
Because you don't want to lose your skills. You never know when you're going to have to hotwire a vehicle.
It's true, man. It's true.
Yeah. And really, you get the little. And I know a lot of these cars are fancy now, but every now and then you find one you can still pop a lock, if you know what I'm saying.
Sure. It's good.
You can find those things.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you.
Well,
keep the skills up. That's good.
You don't want to get rusty.
Stay limber. Stay loose.
It's what you do, man. As you get older, they always tell you to keep your skills, keep practicing.
Yeah.
So I did, and by the way, I got into the hotel room next door. Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That wigs me out a little bit. I'll let you keep the rest of that to yourself. Speaking of keeping your skills loose and keeping it working, LeBron is going to be a Philadelphia 76. You know who the happiest person on planet Earth is right now?
Who do you think?
Dawn Staley.
Oh yeah, she gets to root for LeBron James in Philly.
She's already thrown it out on Instagram. She's
maybe she can get LeBron to come on down here and hang out with her Gamecock women,
or get him to play like an exhibition game in Columbia.
Yeah, why not?
That'd be cool.
I think it's a very interesting 5 on paper for the Sixers. And you know how this goes, man. We've watched these type of teams get together, which, by the way, this is not how you win anymore. You look at the teams that win now. They're built from the draft and shrewd trades and all that other stuff. It's not, hey, let's get a bunch of superstars together and make a team. This thing, because you've seen it, 2 guys are going to have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
At least 2 guys are going to have to give up shots.
Yeah.
Edgecombe is, because he's the youngest, right? Hey, VJ, give up shots. You got no choice. Who else is going to give up shots? Maxey, Embiid, Jaylen Brown. Somebody's got to give up shots. Does LeBron become the ultimate shot give-upper?
Well, he doesn't mind. He's a good distributor.
He did it a little bit in L.A.
He's a good distributor of the ball.
He had the highest usage rate with the Lakers, and only was number 3 in shots taken. So LeBron might be at that point in his career. He said, you know what, guys? I'll sacrifice the shots and facilitate the offense. When you guys need me to score, I will.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. We'll get into a little more of that later. And by the way,
only $8 million over 2 years, Jay. LeBron's got to get a second job.
I know.
Put Bronny to work.
Good for him to hey, it's not about the money. I mean, $4 million ain't chump change.
It's kind of tough to live on $4 million. Let's be fair.
Well, when AD is getting ready to make like 67,
it's just vile. And LeBron walked away. Well, no, LeBron was a free agent, but he was making like mid-50s. 54 million or something.
Look, LeBron's on a whole different level because he's LeBron. And he's got shoes and
but
deals,
you know what's sad?
and
when you say Anthony Davis is making mid-60s millions, you go
and for what?
To not play,
to
sit on
not
the sidelines in his street clothes.
To not play.
Then you go, well, God, if you're paying AD mid-60s, you got to pay LeBron even in his 40s, 70s.
If I took the average, if you took it, if it made it an 80, not a per game played, right? But just took minutes played through an 82 game season, and then averaged it out for Anthony Davis.
Calculate his salary.
He's making like more money than anybody on earth.
Well, think about it.
Like per minute.
It's
probably not.
Let's just say he plays. Let's say he plays 50 games, and he's making 60-some million. That's over $1 million a game.
Per game. And then, but when you really look at like in the minutes, what's he playing? 30-something minutes a night, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the way he's so brittle anymore. You're playing him over 30, 32 minutes.
But he's always been that way. I think he's only got like 3 seasons where he played the whole year.
Over 70. Yeah, I mean, he's always been brittle. But when he was younger and brittle, he could play more. Now he's older and brittle.
I'm just. Anyway.
You know what's sad about him? And you can tell. I can hear the disgust in your voice. Here's the sad part of Anthony Davis. When he is healthy and engaged, he's one of the 7 best players in the league. That's what annoys you. He can do so many things for you. He's so athletic, and there are times he doesn't feel like playing, and sometimes he's quote unquote hurt. It's a shame when you see a guy that talented. Remember, people forget something. He played point guard in high school. This guy is so talented, and it's such a waste of talent. You just shake your head.
Yeah.
It's like when your kid is so skilled at something and they just don't do it, or they waste the talent, or they just don't take it seriously, and you go like this. That look, you had that look just now talking about Anthony Davis.
It just bothers me. But anyway, all right, let's move on. So it's Friday. I want to be in a good mood here. We got a lot to get to around the program. The votes are in as SEC Media Days has wrapped up. Georgia, no surprise, picked to win it all. Carolina picked 11th. I say picked. I mean, that's just you vote, and then they tally up numbers, and that's how many points you got, and that's where you finish. So it's not like everybody said, 11. But that sounds about right. We ran a poll last week asking you guys to, in basically groups of 4, where you thought Carolina would be picked this week. And I went back and looked this morning. 58% of you figured it would be 9 through 12. That felt about right. Again, Carolina is in that group with Tennessee, Missouri, Auburn, Florida. It's hard to really separate those clubs. And, of course, Auburn and Florida have new coaches. There's a new quarterback at Missouri, although a proven one in the SEC. Is Hardy ready to play again? We don't know that yet. Tennessee is going to be bringing in yet another quarterback, but Josh Heupel has proven that in his 9 seasons as a head coach, he's had 7 different starting quarterbacks, and the offense always clicks. So it's more a matter of system, perhaps, than who's running it. Of course, the better that person is, the better off you are. And for South Carolina, there's a lot that's new and a lot that's old. Lenoris comes back, but you got to have the Lenoris of 24, not the Lenoris of 25. Right. Can Dylan Stewart provide you what he needs? Can all that veteran presence up front that you brought in actually make a big difference? Who's going to run the football? How much of a committee will it be? And with a new running backs coach and offensive coordinator, how much different does all of that look? And, of course, Randy Clements up front. There are a lot of questions around South Carolina, a lot of unknowns around South Carolina. I think
all those teams we talked about in that lump have legitimate questions, but all those teams, the more questions you answer yes, the better off they all are. And out of that crew, you can see at least one, if not maybe 2, sniff around that 9-win mark in the college football playoff and things of that nature. Because, look, Missouri, Austin Simmons, his biggest problem before he got hurt and got replaced by Trinidad Chambliss was he liked to give the ball to the other team.
Yeah.
Not a great idea.
Yeah.
Can he be the player that Ole Miss thought he was going to be? If he is, Missouri, people are underrating Missouri. They got some talent, especially on offense. Defense, they got to get it together. But there's their question mark. Auburn's got question marks with a new coach. Tennessee, you hit it with the quarterback. South Carolina's got question marks. Everybody at Florida, I mean, their quarterback is unproven. And, they got talent.
Where'd Lagway go?
Baylor, yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Because remember, Dave Aranda was like blaming everything on everybody but DJ Lagway, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So we got, we'll get over all of that for you. First, second, and third team picks, preseason, all conference, whatever that may be worth to you. Not a lot of Gamecock participation there. In fact, only 2.
I know.
Wasn't surprised that Lenoris wasn't one of the top 3 quarterbacks. This is one of the better years for quarterbacks in this conference.
I thought the 3 that got picked, I figured that's the 3. I'm glad they picked them in the order they did, to be fair.
It was Chambliss, Manning, and
Gunner
Stockton.
And I get it. And again, I'm not as high on Gunner Stockton as others, and that's fine, but I see why he's third team. I totally do. Arch at second, I think that's right. I think Trinidad Chambliss deserved to be first team All-SEC after what he did last year.
I do too. He made big plays in big moments a lot for Mississippi, and it was good. And I loved the Pete Golding story of talking to him and Kejuan Lacey about why they needed to stay at Ole Miss and build a legacy. And I thought it was great when he talked about, for those of you who missed it during Pete's big room discussion, he said that he had those guys in his office look up Lane Kiffin on Google. And basically, in so many words, said, look at what these people are saying. The locals, the Ole Miss fans, look at what they're saying about him. And he basically said, this was early on in the process last offseason. He said a few days ago they could have built a statue of him, and everybody would have loved it.
Yeah.
And now look, like that would be you.
Right.
Or you can stay here, you can build on what we're doing, and they'll love you forever.
Right.
And it's truth. And some kids did leave and go with Lane.
Right.
And that's fine. You're going to LSU. You're gonna get spotlighted. The thing is, in this conference these days, you're gonna get spotlighted anywhere. And maybe back in the day it wasn't as much. Look, is it still going to be an advantage to play at LSU? Probably, relative to Ole Miss.
Sure it is.
But massively, it's not like you're at Southern Miss.
I mean,
and I don't mean that to disparage Southern Miss.
It's fine. I've been to games at Southern Miss. It's a fine institution.
Brett Favre went to Southern.
I was going to say, you got Brett Favre up on the wall there in the stadium. Yeah, look, it's just the idea that Ole Miss
what
is
the hell's
really.
Brett Favre doing here?
Well, it's so funny. You forget that Brett Favre actually went to Southern Miss until
beat
you go
Florida
in.
State, man.
I know.
I remember watching that game.
But yeah, it's just Ole Miss they've gotten traction, right? They've got a collective, and they've got now resources more than they had before, compared to their punching weight, right?
Yep.
They have they've now played in the college football semifinal. There is forward momentum, but you're still not obviously LSU, but you have forward momentum at Ole Miss. And we'll see if that continues under Pete Golding. But look, we can say we want about Lane. And you know me, I don't like what he did and how he did it. But look what Lane did. If you want to talk about leaving a place better than when you got there, remember that's all our goals, right? All the time, Jay?
Yep.
When you take a job, you want to leave it better than when you got there?
Yep.
I don't think anybody can argue Lane left that a lot better than when he got there, to be fair to Lane.
Oh, amen.
So they're in a good. Lane left Ole Miss in a good spot. Now, can Goldie continue
he can
on? We'll
coach.
see.
He can coach. He can motivate. He can develop. He's got virtually everything you want. You and I talked about it yesterday. He's a really good X and O in-game manager. He finds those ways to twist the knife during the course of a ball game. He'll find it. He's terrific at it. That's but he, personality-wise, is a guy that rubs people the wrong way, and he needs to finish the job. That's the thing.
And he's got that gene, and we all know these people. And maybe some of us were like this when we were younger. Hey, everything's going great. What can I do to bleep it up?
Yeah.
And that feels like that's Lane's personality. Everything's going really well. What can I do to screw it all up now and cause chaos and drama and everything else? But as a coach, again, look what he's done. The only thing he's missing is winning championships in the Power 4 level, and that's what he's missing.
Well, and that's I think that's why he believes he needed to take the next step. Before we hit the break, I got a poll question for you. BetMGM has released updated over/under win totals for the college football season. They have the Gamecocks at 6.5. Which way are you going? Very simple here. Over, under. We'll let it run through the end of the show, give you some results in just a little bit. We'll go over the full media predictions coming up, including the team that I don't think as highly of. See what you guys believe. Postgame show rolling on. 19 minutes after 3 o'clock on this Friday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you as the postgame show rolls on. Media votes are in. Georgia has been picked to win the Southeastern Conference for a third consecutive season. I was a little, when I say I was surprised, like, oh, my God, you picked Georgia to win, like not like that kind of surprise. But I honestly thought for a variety of reasons, and sometimes just that, whether it's media or, just as a subset of humanity or just humanity in general, Terry Ford, we, and again, I mean humans and media, like to, different. I mean, I think after a while you're like, I'm going to pick something different, whether you believe it or not. So that Georgia was picked to win again. That was a tight race. I don't know how many total votes were cast. I
forget.
But
it was tight.
It looks like maybe around 200 total votes were cast. That's one thing, too. The assembled media at media days, most guys don't want to vote. I don't know why. I always enjoyed being able to participate.
I like doing it. Don't get me
I think
wrong.
you know what I think it is. Honestly, I think if it was just the like order of finish and picking a champion, you'd get a lot more votes. It's the minutia they want us to get into, like pick like 8 offensive linemen and all that, and like
looking up long snappers.
Pick 2 long snappers. I don't know any long snappers, man.
I know.
I don't know.
You know what I did?
I know the local long snapper.
I hit the Phil Steele.
Yeah,
and sell at the SEC long snappers.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. And then we just regurgitate somebody else's work in order to do that. Like maybe we don't need to go that far. And I think some guys are like, yeah, I'm not doing all that. And so, but anyway.
No, I agree with you. I think you nailed it right there. And look, somebody got drunk and voted Kentucky to win the whole thing.
Well, somebody does that every year. There's some wise ass that does something. But Georgia got 2,519 points to win the SEC. Or at least finish first in the SEC. They also were picked as the champion. That's a different thing. And by the way, the only you can pick a champion, but you have in order to pick a champion, it has to be one of the top 2 teams that you voted for.
Right.
It's automatically done that way. Right. So that means that somebody, if you will, picked Kentucky to finish first or second in the league and then voted for Kentucky to win. You don't pick it separately.
Right.
They do at least attempt to have you put some thought into it and not just do one or the other. Anyway, Texas got 2,449, so 70 points separation on, roughly 2,500 points for each of these clubs. Mississippi was 3rd, Texas A&M 4th, LSU 5th, Bama 6th, Oklahoma 7, Tennessee 8, Florida 9, Missouri 10, Carolina 11, Auburn 12, Vandy 13, Kentucky 14, State 15, and Arkansas finishes last, and a pretty distant last, by the way. So not a lot of belief in what the Hogs are going to do.
No.
I am obviously in a minority, and I am not here to say that I think this team is going to stink. But I'm not as big of an Ole Miss believer as people want me to be. That's the way I'm going to couch it. Because I think a lot of people really saw what Ole Miss did last year. No, they have Trinidad coming back. No, they have Lacey coming back. No, at least they've got Pete Golding kind of coaching that defense coming back. And that they're not going to miss a beat. I don't technically disagree with any of those theories. And I do like Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah,
but
think
top to bottom, Terry, I just think Texas A&M, LSU, Alabama, and Oklahoma are all deeper.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mississippi is catching anybody by surprise, and they don't have Lane coaching them in games.
I was going to say, you hit those teams that are ahead of Ole Miss. To me, the biggest question for Ole Miss comes down to 2 things. Comes down to the head coach, because we don't know what Pete Golding's going to be like for a whole season. Last postseason was so emotional, right?
I think it was. I don't want to put a percentage on it. Mostly emotional.
Yeah, and these guys were playing to show Lane this or that, or playing to,
And remember, they had the whole staff.
Yes, the whole and they brought
minus
the staff,
Lane.
right? Minus Lane, Charlie Weiss Jr. came back, and all
guys.
these things.
Yeah.
And everything was so intense and geeked up. And now we're going to take all that away. and now we're just coaching ball every day. And now you're in the head coach's office, and you're making the head coaching decisions in game. And you're the CEO now. You're not the defensive coordinator. You're not the interim guy that was thrown in there at the mix, and you could, be you and everything was okay.
He even kind of hinted, and you heard it too. I mean, obviously, he even kind of hinted it. I'm not. Don't take this the wrong way, y'all. But it kind of sounded like I didn't even really want this job.
Huh?
I told Lane to not go.
Right.
I like being defensive coordinator. I just wanted to do my job.
And when he said that, it kind of maybe raised an eyebrow because, look, you got to want to be the head coach.
Yeah.
You got to want, and you know this, Jay, whether it's running radio stations, running football teams, running a trucking company, running a restaurant, you got to want to be in charge. Because being in charge can be a pain in the bleep sometimes.
Everything falls on you.
Fair or not. And you know what you got to do when it does? You got to man up and take the responsibility for it. You get all the phone calls. You get more complaints than attaboys from people about stuff. You got to want to do that job. And even if you want to, there's days you get in the car and go, so why do I want to do this again?
What am I doing? Right.
Why the hell do I want to do this? So when he said that, I saved that for you and I to talk about because you nailed it. It's like, bro, I hope you understand, you can't be like wishy-washy about this job. You got to want to be the head coach. You got to want to be the buck stops here guy.
And look, I think
might be before it's all said and done.
He's grown into it, and he did well the other day overall. In fact, I didn't realize a few people apparently clapped when he was done. Were they Ole Miss people? Were you in the room? Were they Ole Miss people?
Yeah, I think I said this to Gunnar yesterday. You and I didn't talk about it. I don't want to be media guy here. Yeah. Because God knows I'm just a sports talk goof. You don't clap in that room.
You don't clap at press conferences.
And here's the hottie toddies in the back clapping for Golding. I didn't turn and look. Some did. I just turned my head and went, seriously?
Yeah.
What are we doing? They clapped when he walked off the stage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. We don't. No, you don't do that. That's like the guy that claps in the press box. And by the way, Steve Fink, God love him, would throw out.
Yeah.
There's, I'm not that guy that says don't bring your kids to the press conference. I'm not that guy, but I am there is a protocol.
Yes.
And clapping for the head coach walking to the podium in the big room at SEC Media Days. No.
But it was a traveling contingent.
I think it was just the hottie toddy crew in the back there clapping. It wasn't media members. I think just folks who came along with him. Because you'll see these pressers when they hire a coach. Some of the people that work at the university will sit there and clap at the press conference.
Yeah.
I think that was the kind of crew. The people that brought Golding from Ole Miss. They were the ones.
You can bring, and schools will bring a traveling contingent, not just with the players, but there's SIDs and there are assistants.
Like there's a few that come with our crew from the University of South Carolina.
And they're there to make sure everything's running smoothly and do advanced work. And also sometimes you get I'll just say special guests of the conference.
Yes, and you also get some young assistant / intern types to come help. I think that's where you got the clapping.
Yeah.
You get and they're all, some of them, you go to school and you're all filled with the adrenaline of bleeding the school colors. And I get it at the moment. Oh, Pete!
Yeah. Right.
It's like, don't do that.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So I'm just, to come back around, again, Ole Miss in third. Look, I totally get why. I'm not here to go, how in the world is Ole Miss third? I'm not doing that at all. I completely get it. I got to tell you, Terry, I probably would have had Mississippi. Like, I would have done this. Georgia, my top 5 would have been Georgia, Texas, Bama, LSU, A&M. That'd have been my top 5.
Well, I'll tell you, mine.
And then I'd have probably had Ole Miss behind that. Because, again, I know they're good. I saw what they did last year. I saw them beat Georgia in the playoffs. I totally get it. But I'm just not a believer in Ole Miss going 10-2, 11-1, and replicating that. I don't see it relative to what I see from it.
Me,
and if I'm wrong, so be it. I mean, hell, we're wrong most of the time with these things.
Go get them, man. I got Ole Miss 7th. I put them behind LSU, A&M, Oklahoma, Bama, Texas, and Georgia.
Yeah.
I think Because, and again, this is no offense. I like Pete Golding. Seems like a fun guy. I'd like to go have a beer with him. But I just think there's so much unknown of that guy taking over that job in the vacuum of losing Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
And the fact you are replacing some folks. You do have your quarterback, but I have him 7th. I'm with you. There's some question marks there.
We'll come back, talk more about the order of finish. We'll get into our poll question on the Gamecocks. So much more to do. 803-404-6100 is the Friday postgame show. Integrated Media ready to help you watch all of this football we're talking about better than ever before. Maybe you have been dreaming of a home theater system that is top-notch. Maybe you want to make your brother-in-law jealous, right? Or your fraternity brothers. Or maybe you just want to watch football better, or your favorite movies or TV shows better, or listen to music and watch concerts better than ever, or just the convenience of controlling it all from an app on your phone. All those things and more can be done when you call Integrated Media. They're ready to help you out. 803-948-8327. I was looking at our phone number. Integrated Media can get out to the house. They make house calls, and they're also ready to take your outdoor home theater dreams to the next level as well with equipment that's meant to be outside all the time. So watch your football better than ever before. 803-948-8327. Call Integrated Media. 26 minutes in front of 4 o'clock on a Friday. You made it. Welcome back in. It's the Postgame Show. Terry made it. What time did you get back last night?
I enjoyed myself in Tampa rush hour traffic.
Sure.
Man.
We tried to get you out early, and it's still. But when you're in a big city, rush hour starts at like 3:30.
It was crazy. It was honestly worse than I thought. And I knew it was going to be bad, but it was worse than I thought. Once I got, because it just kept, like, sprawling out, right? Yeah. You're like, okay, I'm in the downtown. I know it's going to be, because we're leaving downtown Water Street, right? Yeah. So you know maneuvering the downtown is going to be a pain in the butt. Yeah. But the sprawl was a pain, too. Once it took more miles than I thought, Jay, to get out of that. So I probably got in and I stopped and stole some stuff from Buc-ee's in Brunswick. I probably got back around 1-ish before it was over with. Around a little bit before 1. So not bad. It was. It's about.
If you had flown, you'd have gotten home a lot quicker.
Yeah, true. Good point. Or I'd still be in the airport sleeping after my flight got canceled. Oh, that's never happened to us. I'm just making stuff up.
That was rough.
That was so bad. God love your wife.
That was rough.
God love her. We'd still be in the damn Charlotte airport if it wasn't for Sonny coming and get us.
Been hitchhiking our way down 77.
Now, that would have been 3 guys that would have got picked up. So you, me, and Campbell.
At least we made it to Charlotte. That
was a run.
And remember, our original flight was a direct.
Yeah, from Dallas right into Columbia.
We were supposed to come back because we flew straight to. Yeah, there's a daily, at least a couple.
And that's why we will always love Daisy. You get on the phone, tell her what happened. She's like, run to the Charlotte.
She did.
Run.
Man. Daisy Miller at Forest Lake Travel. She was like, here's what you don't do anything else. And we just ordered pizza and beer.
Yeah, we were sitting there. We got pizza. We were sitting there knocking down a beer in the airport. We were flying to get to that Dallas to Charlotte flight.
Yeah, I sprinted, and then she was like, "Okay, here's what you do." Like, she's like, I was like, "Daisy, first off, I told when I called her, I remember this is a quick story. They have like the customer service area at every airport, every major airport, right?" She's like, "Oh no." She's like, "Find the next flight to Charlotte and run to that gate."
That's right.
She's like, "Run to."
That's what we did.
Gate.
We were flying.
And so, we were the last 3 people, and we were like on standby, but we all got on that plane, man.
Remember when you elbowed that guy in the head when you were going past the gate to get in?
It was his fault.
It was. He got in front of your elbow.
Yeah.
It's his fault.
Say, hey, buddy.
It's like, hey, dude, you hurt my elbow with your face.
Get out of the way. But we managed to get our pizza, and we had our beer, and everything was okay.
Had our pizza. And then got to Charlotte, thought we were good to go.
I thought we were good.
And then we weren't.
Man, didn't happen. But anyway, glad you're back. And again, great work by everybody, both down there and here.
Yeah, we'll get your butt to Nashville next year.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. Certainly be back. It was weird, man. It was weird. It was weird not being there. So our poll question, South Carolina over under win total at 6.5. That was released yesterday afternoon. BetMGM updated their. And by the way, you can get into the minutia for those of you who are into such things. And South Carolina, basically, more people are betting the over. So the over's a minus. No, I think the over was like minus 145, and the under was like plus 115. So, in other words, you got to bet more to win less if you take the over. So more people are leaning that way, as are those of you who have voted. Again, over under is your poll choices. 83.9%, Terry Ford, over.
Yeah. If I'm voting, I'm over.
Yeah.
I'm team over on this, yeah.
Nobody in the SEC had an over-under total of more than 10. Georgia is the betting favorite. Now, Georgia, Bama, LSU, and Texas all had A&M, Texas, LSU, and Georgia all had over under 9.5s. But if you, again, get into the minutia of the betting, Georgia is the favorite on that one. But so 83.9% over, 16.1% under. If you want to vote, you got time. Still going to run this through the end of the show.
If my memory serves me, which it never does anymore, South Carolina's schedule is interesting. South Carolina has the 3 worst teams if you look at over-under, with Mississippi State and Arkansas and Kentucky at 4.5. Then every other team is 7.5 or above.
Yep.
There's no middle ground there, man.
No, there's not. And, you get a couple of toss-ups. I mean, I think, toss-up games, Florida, Tennessee here. I mean, I don't know. I think Clemson I would want to put in the toss-up category. I'm
right
not
now,
so sure.
As
I look at it today,
right.
I would put it more of a toss-up. I know Clemson fans will probably hear that and throw things at their radio and tell me I'm crazy and that Clemson will win by 50.
If you want to get mad and break your radio,
yeah, go ahead. And look, Carolina fans might get upset with me when I say that I think Georgia comes in, at least as I look at it today in July, and say that Georgia will probably be a pretty good favorite when they come here.
A&M will come here and be a favorite, most likely.
Hey, I don't really. I mean, I'd like to think that we could put A&M somewhere close to the toss-up category, but they'll be a heavy favorite. The reason I would want to, or say that you could, is simply because of what happened last year and that you know you can play with them. And then, again, we've talked about that a bunch, too, from those angles of the Bama and A&M games, how much you use your last results against those schools to motivate you. And, again, with Alabama, there's got to be, I mean, even for Lenoris personally and individually, there's got to be some level of frustration. Like, Dad,
2 years in a row,
2 years in a row. You know, if I protect the ball, we likely win that game. And nothing's a guarantee, but you do likely win that game. And for A&M, you know, last year, look, we can boil it down to a lot of things. And, you know, hearing so many guys like Nick Saban, especially all week, and just echo the things he said, you know, you got to run the ball. Got to run the ball. And let me go back. I think let me look here. I think last year, I wrote it down yesterday. Last year, South Carolina was number 111 in the country.
Is that good?
In rush yards per game. No.
Not good?
I mean, here's the thing. Three big offensive categories. Nationally, points per game, 104th.
Not good.
Total yards per game, 109th.
That's the opposite of good.
I'm sorry, 119th in rush yards per game.
And there's only like 132 teams.
Yeah, 119. I said 100. They averaged 111 per game. They were 119th in the country.
And the yards per game is even worse.
Yards per game was 336. Again, 109th.
The yards per carry was abysmal.
It was under 3.
I remember their yards before contact might have been the worst in the country. It was like 1 something. Look, the thing about running the football is this. Even if you're a passing team, there comes a time that you know, you've heard of it, the 4-minute offense, whatever you want to call it. There are times in a football game you got to be able to run the rock. Whether it's 3rd or 4th and 1, whether it's you want to get some first downs to ice the game away and keep the ball from the other team, you're in a 1-score game and you've got to, you know, continue to churn first downs, or you're behind and you have short yardage and you have to run the ball. Even if you're a passing team, you need to, when it's time, you got to be able to line up and slobber knock people. You just do. And I think that goes to, and we heard it all the time at SEC Media Days, and I get people eye roll it. You just got to be tougher than the other guy up front. Whether it's with my blocking scheme, I'm just lining up and man on man, knocking the heck out of you. Whatever it is, you got to win at the line of scrimmage. And that typically means you got to be tougher on that snap than the other guy. And last year, we just didn't see that. I mean, John Summerall brought that up about the Florida offensive line in SEC Media Days. We just weren't tough enough. We weren't strong enough. We weren't mean enough. South Carolina last year, besides, remember that drive against Vanderbilt before Lenoris got hurt?
Yeah.
When Lenoris threw the pick?
Yeah.
And the offensive linemen were driving dudes up the field. They're high-fiving each other. That's the only time all year we saw any tude from that O-line.
Yeah.
I want to see guys out there, again, not getting penalties, but I want to see guys out there driving dudes to the whistle, fist bumping each other as they walk away, pancaking guys. I want to see some guys who play pissed.
That's fair.
You got to win at the line of scrimmage and just be tougher. And we haven't seen that consistently. Out there, and you know, one of Preston's favorite moments of the last few years is Torricelli Simpkins getting the 15-yard penalty against Clemson on the sideline when Simpkins drove the Clemson defender like into the stands, like a blindside. Right. Preston was like, "You know what I like that? We made a statement. We're here to play."
Right.
And there was part to that, right? There just is. And I'd like to see that toughness, because there's going to be times you're going to have to need to run it, Jay. No matter how fancy you want to be, you got to be able to line it up and run it, man.
Yeah, and I think so to go back to the individual portion of the second half of the A&M game, if you could have just run just a little.
Yeah.
Just a little. Then you milk the clock, you get a few more first downs, and you simply don't give Marcel Reed and A&M the chance to keep scoring points.
You shorten the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. 803-404-6100 if you want to chime in on everything we've been talking about with Media Day's got a lot of sound to get to. There are a couple of big storylines around college football that we will touch on as well. And Terry will open the vault today, by the way, one of those days. I know you got it for the vault coming up. All right, welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you on this Friday. Got another interesting poll question, by the way, courtesy of our buddy Will King, our former colleague here, who asked, so I retweeted this. You can have full rights and revenue to one brand. This is for Gamecock fans. Which one do you choose? And you get Carolina, USC, or SC. Carolina, USC, or SC. Think about that. I'll give you some of those results in a little bit. And our other poll question, again, simply over-under. Carolina's at 6.5, updated yesterday by BetMGM, over-under 6.5 win total. What you got? Over, under. So a couple of poll questions running out there.
Very nice.
All right. It's been a while since I guess we've had the vault. We haven't done Jay or Nay, so I'm sure that on your drive home up 75 or 95 or whichever interstate you took that you were preparing just dozens of Jay or Nay.
That's all I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it should be.
Talking to the voice recorder because, I can't text and drive. It's illegal.
Should be.
So I was talking to the voice recorder.
I'm very excited for Jay or Nay next hour. But in the meantime, let's open the vault because today is one of the great moments in baseball history.
Today in 1983, George Brett hits a home run at Yankee Stadium. All of a sudden, there's a congregation at home plate led by Billy Martin, Yankee manager. Yeah. Umpires need Brett's bat. They're measuring it at home plate, doing stuff, looking at it. And then all of a sudden, everybody realizes, they're talking about the pine tar on Brett's bat. Now, nobody thinks Brett's actually going to get called out until this happened.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, the Yankees win it. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out.
And he's steaming mad.
He is out and having to be forcibly restrained from hitting plate umpire Tim McClellan. And the Yankees have won the ball game 4-3.
Craziness ensued.
I've never seen. And I've watched a lot of baseball. A lot of baseball. I've seen fights. I've seen anger. I've seen punches thrown and bases thrown and spit flying and, but I'd never to this day seen anything like George Brett's reaction.
His eyes bug out.
Yeah.
Almost pop out of his head like Looney Tunes.
I mean, you have to wonder. I'm dead serious. And I'm not. Look, it was 40-some years ago, but you hear those announcers go like for restrained from hitting the home plate umpire. Like, I do wonder, as you revise history and you go back, had he not, because that's one thing that you don't ever really. You've seen some managers maybe poke an umpire, get it right up at or bump them a little bit or something, and they want to throw a punch because players will throw punches at each other.
Sure.
But you can't hit the umpire.
Do you remember Bill Madlock? I think it was with the Pirates. And you remember Bill Madlock?
Yeah.
Touched an umpire with his glove when he was talking to him because he was upset about a call or something, or touched him and got a 15-game suspension by touching him.
Right.
George Brett, I just watched it, and I haven't watched it in a minute. First of all, from just sitting like a normal dude to anger.
He was sprung from a cannon, man.
It was like less than half a second.
Yeah.
And Brett, it was like he was shot from a cannon, came flying out of the dugout. I honestly believe if they didn't stop him, and I mean the other umpires, the Royals players, Brett might have killed Tim McClellan.
I think he certainly like Mike Singletary's him to the ground, man.
What's that? He was going at him with bad intentions.
Yeah.
And you're right. If he doesn't punch him, he's going to tackle him.
Yeah.
He was going at McClellan to do physical harm to him.
It was full bore linebacker speed across the field, man. I mean, that's why I say, Singletary, LT, somebody, he's going to, it would have been bad.
It was like Terry Tate office linebacker.
Yeah,
I mean, he was going to take out Tim McClellan.
And George Brett, I'm not saying that would have ended his career or anything, but to your point of a 15-game suspension.
Oh, he'd have been, God knows, a year.
Yeah, probably.
If you commit a felony against an umpire, I do believe you're going to get about a year, most likely. The interesting part, remember, that later got overturned, and it was a home run, and the Royals won.
Yeah.
And this
which was the right thing
call
to do.
But here's the thing, though, about we forget Billy Martin had been watching Brett all year. and had seen the pine tar on the bat. And he talked to, I forget who it wasn't really a bench coach, one of his coaches. And he said, what's the rule on pine tar?
Right.
And they said, blah, blah, blah. And Martin's like, that's breaking the rule. And Martin held it in his pocket and held it for that moment.
Yeah, and remember, the umps to measure didn't have a ruler or a measuring tape. They used home plate.
So funny.
They're like, well, we know that home plate is whatever inches wide, 14, 15 inches, whatever it was. And it exceeded that. They're like, well, you're out.
Surreal, man. It's such a moment.
George Brett.
Such a moment.
But I was glad that justice was ultimately done.
Yeah, and then it got reversed.
Yeah, good stuff. Hour 2 coming up.
The folks at CHW Cabinetry, we discuss this all the time. Star and her crew, fantastic customer service, just quality, first-rate work, indoors or outdoors, and actually fun people to talk to. They're a good time. They have fun over there at CHW Cabinetry. Go over, set up an appointment, go meet with them, yuck it up a little bit, tell them what you want to do, the budget you've got, kind of like the style you're looking for, where you need your cabinets, put them anywhere. Doesn't matter. They will put cabinets anywhere you need them. It starts with a phone call. 803-520-6837. Feel free. Look at the reviews. Read the reviews. Go over and just spend a little bit of time talking to Star and the folks there. Photorealistic renderings. Total transparency. Again, 803-520-6837. CHW Cabinetry, 2-Notch in Lexington.
4 o'clock on a Friday. Welcome back in. Hour 2 of the Postgame Show coming at you from downtown Columbia's Herndon Chevy Studios. Alongside Terry Ford, I'm Jay Phillips. Terry, Elijah, Tyler, all back from Tampa. Again, appreciate all their hard work. Jack Veltri was down there, too, with you all right? At least for most of the time.
Jack was there.
Yep.
Absolutely. Jordan Kay, DC was there, Cloninger. There's a few others, too, from here locally. There was a crew. It was a crew.
Yeah, I missed it.
Well, honestly, man, it wouldn't say. I'm not saying this to be all radio-y or whatever, but yeah, it was a little weird without you. I ain't gonna lie. I got used to you being there.
Yeah.
And I said this when I was getting guests. I'm like, I don't have my guest wrangler, Jay Phillips, this year. I need a guest, so I got to go wrangle guests. And as you know, probably about 93% of the people in Media Row because you've been there for so long, and so it was just like, I got to go run around and find guests because I don't have Phillips here pulling people over because he knows everybody. So, yeah, man, it was a little weird without you walking around there with us. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, we'll go ahead and
book Nashville.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and book a flight and a hotel now.
Mm-hmm. Are you not gonna drive with me to Nashville?
No. Sorry.
No, I love you to death, and you know that.
Sorry.
The way you are about traveling in a car, I don't think it wouldn't be probably good to have you in a car for 6 hours.
Well, here's the thing. For one thing, too, driving to Nashville,
the mountains and everything.
You got to drive. You drive past Asheville. So at that point, I'm just going to want to stay.
You want to be dropped off?
I'd be like, I'll just catch you later. But then you get to drive through the gorge, which is always nice, and then you hit Knoxville, and then you realize, oh my God, how much farther is it to Nashville?
I've told you I've never been there. It's my bucket list. I've never been to Nashville. I didn't go a few years ago. I didn't go.
It's fun. I think you got to really want some of what Nashville offers, and that's not necessarily my scene. Mm-hmm. But it's a fine town. But I'm not. It's a fine town. We had a good time.
It's another one of those towns. Even though because I do want to go, because I've always wanted to go. But I probably the 24-year-old version of me would really
I feel that way. I mean, I love live music, but I to each their own. I make no secret of the fact that I am not a country music fan. Now, Nashville is not country music exclusive. There's plenty, and Haney's told me that. He's like, if you want to go hear some good live rock, I mean, we can go. And
I'll tell you what I want to do.
We never did, but
I did. I told you I worked country music for 2 years, longest 2 years of my life. Did I say that out loud? But no, one of the things I do want to do that I picked up from those 2 years is because the Bluebird Cafe is the songwriter haven.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The songwriters go in there and they perform their stuff. I want to go sit in the Bluebird and just hear songwriters do their thing.
Yeah, Patrick's done that, and Michael's done a few things at some places up there, and he's starting to do that now. So I look forward to seeing we'll be back in his element next year.
Yep. We got to totally bug the hell out of him.
Well, he came by. We made him like we did with Langston in Dallas. We got Michael credentialed in Nashville last time.
I'll say this, and again, Michael Haney's obviously our guy. He's going to have to do a lot to top Langston. Langston was the dude, man.
Well, Langston brought all that food, man.
Langston was the man.
And then while Langston was there, he just happened to pop on the Feinbaum show. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Feinbaum was like, "Hey, you played in the NFL and the SEC a long time, why don't you
jump over here and talk with us, dude?" Oh yeah.
Next thing I was like, Langston was like, "Yeah, I just did the Feinbaum show." And we were like, "All right, man, good for you."
Yeah, I go, "You what?" He's like, "Man, I was just standing around."
Yeah, he was just sure, why not? So yes,
next year you'll be in Nashville.
Yeah, so we'll get Michael to bring us some famous hot chicken place.
You got to do something to I mean, at least you got to be in the same road as Langston. You might not top him, but.
That's tough, man.
What Langston brought was
tough.
So good.
Yeah, from pizza to the Tex-Mex, and then the
brisket that final day.
That day of brisket and sausages and
so good. Burn ends.
Yeah,
so good.
Man. Like real burn ends.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Not those where they just cut it up and then crisp them, which are fine.
But
I'm like, no, that's not the end.
That was for real, man. It was good.
It's
good.
Like when your barbecue place runs out of burn ends by 3:00 in the afternoon every day, that's a good sign.
Right.
It's true. That's a good sign. Real. And I ask. There's sometimes I'll go into a place. I'll be like, "Are these real burn-ins?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "All right, just checking. Like, not judging you.
Yeah.
Not judging you. Just asking." But anyway, lots to get to here as we continue on. Again, poll question running for you today. Carolina's over/under win total 6.5. That was BetMGM updating those yesterday. What do you got? Over/under 83.1%.
Over.
Over. I'll take the over. How much, I'm not sure. I still, getting to 8 is certainly doable. Doing more than 8 is doable. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, listen, they're going to definitely lose to, A, B, C, and D. But I know that you're going to be. You will not be favored.
You're not going to be favored in Norman.
In Tuscaloosa. You will not be favored in Norman. You will not be favored against Georgia.
Probably not against A&M.
Yeah, or Clemson.
Yeah, I mean.
You might be favored in the other game.
Right.
Florida, toss up. Again, I think tight. Tennessee, tight. And you don't have Missouri this year.
Right. I mean, look, in this schedule, you should. Obviously, you're going to win the first 2. You better.
You better.
You should.
You better win the first 3.
Yeah, you should be Mississippi State at home.
Yeah,
and even Mississippi State, I think, is better than people want to give them credit for. The kid Taylor, the quarterback, is a huge wild card. Kentucky, you should beat Kentucky at home. I think you should go to Fayetteville and beat Arkansas because they're going to struggle.
Those are the games, Terry. Seriously, and I'm going to borrow from something that I remember that kind of really bothered me. When Carolina beat, all those years ago, when Carolina beat Ole Miss on that Thursday night game, sort of I always call it the birth of Sandstorm night. It wasn't the first time Sandstorm had been played, but it's the first night that Sandstorm became something larger than it was and ultimately what it now is.
Right.
And, Norwood had a night. But I remember when I got home and watched the replay, I remember Chris Fowler, who was doing play-by-play, I guess with Herbie back then still, I can't, but anyway, basically chastising Ole Miss and saying, because Ole Miss was like number 4 in the country that day. Now, they ultimately were not that good, but that was the season. They were picked, highly and kind of like this year, a lot of hype around them. And Fowler, in that kind of snarky way that he has from time to time, and I love Chris Fowler. He's fantastic at what he does. Said of Ole Miss, look, if you want to be really good, you have to come to South Carolina and win. And what he meant was you're supposed to be better than them.
Right.
Well, I would translate that, if you will,
to those games.
To South Carolina going to Arkansas this year. If you're going to be something, that's a game you have to win.
Absolutely. And so,
you will be judged accordingly if you don't.
If you win those 5, now you've got 7 games left to win. To get to 7, you just have to go 2 and 5.
Yeah.
So,
and that feels defeatist, and I know that's not what you're saying.
No.
But that gets you to the over.
That's what gets you to the over.
Yeah. But you want to get to 9 or 10.
Yeah, I mean, look.
And that feels hard.
I just feel like, and we went over this yesterday about this football team here in Columbia. There's a lot that trends toward, man, you better at least get 7. Yeah. We just went over the schedule. There's 5 games that you're going to be favored and you need to win. We just went over. Now, you got 7 left after that. And if you're a good football team, you should be sitting in, to me, no worse than the 4-3, 3-4 kind of window with the rest of those games. So
you go 4-3, you're once again knocking on the playoff door.
Yeah, and look, if you look at these games, and I think you go to Oklahoma and get beat most likely. If, as you and I are talking in late July, it feels like Oklahoma's better than you as we're having a conversation.
Well, and the
today.
last time you went, I think a lot of people might still have their judgment just a little bit clouded from the last trip to Norman, where, again, Oklahoma was just a hot mess.
They were beat up, freshman quarterback.
Yeah, and remember that game, I mean, before you knew it, it was 21-0.
Right.
Like, just before you could even blink.
The defense just overwhelmed Oklahoma. Yeah. That's going to be a tough one because they have their quarterback. They've got talent on both sides of the ball. The defense is really good. So that's going to be a tough one. I mean, look, that game in Georgia, to me, Georgia's just Georgia. I mean, Georgia, look, if South Carolina's a good team, like a top 15 team by the time they play Georgia, that's the teams Georgia loses to. If you're not in the top 15, Kirby doesn't lose to teams outside the top 15. He just doesn't.
And I said this to Cale yesterday, and I'll ask you, it's rrhetorical, so there's no answer here. What are you both playing for in your last conference game at that point? Because that's what's going to be odd, man. I mean, most of the times that Carolina's played Georgia since joining the conference, you've played them in September. There's been the occasional game somewhere else, but by and large, you have typically seen Georgia within like the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
And so that was always something that Steve Spurrier used to say, like, we kind of got to them early, and they're not, because Georgia, whomever coaches them, but Kirby's no different. they build. You know, they really have a process of getting better as the season goes on. They don't peak too early, and sometimes you were able to really get to them early. A Georgia in mid-November is a lot more worrying, in my opinion. Now, again, to your point, what if Carolina, and I'm just throwing it out there, what if Carolina's 8-2? You know, I'm not saying they will be, but what if they are?
What if? And then that game becomes different because if you look at Kirby, since he lost to South Carolina in that game where South Carolina forced 15 turnovers or whatever it was in Athens. Was that Athens or Williams-Brice? My memory's foggy. I can't remember right now.
I remember the Muschamp one.
Yeah, since that loss, Georgia has not lost to a team outside the top 15.
Right.
Because that's how good that.
And there again that day, like why'd you keep throwing the ball?
Yeah, because you keep throwing it.
Just stop throwing the ball.
The Gamecock secondary. So that if South Carolina is a top 15 team at that point, then you got a football game. If they're sitting around at a 7-3, a 6-4, whatever, that's a large mountain because no matter where you're playing that game, I don't care if you're playing it in Shane's backyard. If Georgia doesn't lose those games, they just don't.
Right.
But the rest of this is like, look, can you beat Alabama? Well, because you had them on the ropes 2 years in a row.
You've gone toe-to-toe with them.
They've got an unknown quantity at quarterback. They're trying to get their offensive line right. Who knows what Alabama's going to be? We don't know anything about Florida, the games in games, but we still don't know anything about Florida.
I think you can wreak some havoc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With your defensive front.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Philo, who knows about Aaron Philo?
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
Tennessee, they might start a true freshman.
Yeah.
We don't know about what's going to go on. Their defense needs repaired. That thing blew four tires at the end of last year.
That night might be, or whatever time that game's going to be, might be more where it could be a slugfest.
Yeah.
Because Tennessee, just, again, the way they run.
They run the ball. Yeah. That offense, the way their formation thins your box up front defensively, and they run it on you. And you got to be able to, first of all, you can't miss any tackles.
Right.
The way they run the ball. So the Tennessee game, I mean, that's going to be one of those toss-up-ish type of games, but it's here. So that's a big advantage. A&M is here.
Yeah.
And like you said, first half last year, you did some curb stomping on Texas A&M, and they're replacing some folks on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So even though you think A&M is going to be really good, we'll find out. And then Clemson, we don't know.
Right.
We just don't know. And so there's a lot of we don't knows in there, Jay.
And you've
point.
won at Clemson 2 years in a row. So,
yeah.
Or two.
So we'll see. But and look, every schedule's tough in the SEC. It's a 10th toughest schedule in the country when you look at it here. But when we go through it a little bit, again, if you can pull the 5, you should win. And in the other 7, let's see how good you are, because that's going to tell your season. But you got to handle the business on those 5, Jay.
Yeah.
You just have to, man.
We'll come back. Again, if you missed it yesterday, some big news around the future of college athletics. We'll touch on that for you, too. And I want to borrow from Nick Saban, who, if you missed it during media days, even though he's not coaching anymore, he's obviously still a big pundit and has a lot of things to say. And he has a wonderful idea. I'd like to expound on that when it comes to the future of college football scheduling. That and so much more. 803-404-6100. It's the Postgame Show. Welcome back in. Postgame show rolling on here on a Friday afternoon. You made it. Jay and Terry coming up top of the hour headlines at 5. Include more on LeBron. Making Dawn Staley real happy. Way to go, LeBron.
Well, he said in the presser he did that for Dawn.
For Dawn.
He did it for Dawn.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Georgia has been picked to win the Southeastern Conference. Been picked to beat Texas in the SEC title game. Mississippi 3rd, A&M 4th, LSU 5th. Carolina 11th. Arkansas picked last. And as Terry pointed out, the Gamecocks have on their schedule the teams that were picked 14th, 15th, and 16th. 2 of them here, Kentucky and Mississippi State. Carolina goes to Fayetteville. But then you've got Florida at 9th, Tennessee 8th, Oklahoma 7th, Alabama 6th, A&M 4th, and Georgia 1st. That's the rest of your SEC schedule this year. Still hadn't seen Texas, and won't see Texas next year either. So, I guess, I don't know. Have they put next year's out yet? Do we know? I don't know. Speaking of scheduling, Nick Saban was doing a hit with ESPN, and he said a lot of things, including some things that made people mad, like, well, the best conference might not be the one that wins titles. And, look, he's going to like depth and strength and all that kind of stuff. And then he rankled a few folks with that one. But Terry Ford, another thing he said was, look, this is a business, college football. And he said he believes that he said Power 5, but I know what he meant. The power conferences, 4 of them now, ought to only play each other. And that way you give everybody something that they want. In other words, you get a much better way to measure yourself against other conferences. You give fans what they want, which is better games. You give players, he said, what they want, which is better games. And that was one of the things that really got like the other players going was like former players that were pundits. Like players want to play in big games, and he's not wrong. I mean, you don't go to Carolina or Alabama or Georgia so that you can play. And I don't even want to say a school so as not to hurt anybody's feelings. An FCS team, right, or a MAC team. Like that's not why you're going. If you're going to Alabama, it's because you're going to play LSU. You're going to play Tennessee. You're going to play Auburn. You're going to play whomever, right? You come to South Carolina because you're going to play Georgia. You're going to play Tennessee. You're going to play Clemson, not because you're going to play a smaller. So I love that, and I think and so you give TV better inventory. That means more advertising. That means more money coming back to you. And remember, the SEC in adding a 9th game, part of that was to get Disney to come off with more money, and they got it.
Yep.
So at some point here in the not-too-distant future, those TV deals come up for renegotiation, and if everybody got together and said, this is what we're going to do, bang, there's your more money.
Yeah, one problem in there, Jay.
Yeah, what's that?
When you're playing better teams, what can happen to you?
You're going to lose. Somebody's going to lose, and how do
coaches get paid?
Yeah, and so again, I keep saying this as a fan and a fan in my mid-50s. I lived through way too many years of people voting for a national champion, and then 1 versus 2. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we have 12, and we're going to have 12 again this year, and maybe we get to 16 or 24. We're going to have to come off of this notion that the only good teams are the ones that are undefeated or at worst have a loss.
Oh,
but we can't. We just don't want to do that.
No, you know why? Because we all grew up looking at the W column.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like that's cool.
No one says it doesn't matter, but how do you get your wins?
Yeah, I mean, again,
who do you beat?
Eli Manning's Giants were 9-7 and won a Super Bowl because there's a formula to get them there. And they got hot at the right time.
Now, you hear college football people push again. They'll use that example in the opposite way of why you don't want it.
Right.
And I think to myself going, but no one talks about that team saying they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs, didn't deserve to play for a championship because they were 9-7. Right? The NFL, we just look at the NFL different.
Right.
And for some reason, college football, because we all grew up on looking at the W column, we think a 9-3 team in the playoff, Jay, is just oh my God, this
You
team
have
is
3 losses, you suck.
this is just awful.
And that drives me nuts. You have 3 losses, you're terrible. No, not anymore. Not if you have a hard schedule and you lose some games. And I'm not here to talk about what because listen, Steve Sarkisian yesterday, I'm not going to, I won't sugarcoat it. He didn't do himself any favors the way he was talking about being left out of a playoff at 9-3. It's like, bro, I know you lost to Ohio State. And his point, I get his point was, if I had scheduled, and he mentioned some local high school, he said if we had played them and we were 10-2, we're in the playoff. Probably.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, but here's the problem, Sark. You could lose to Ohio State and still be in the playoff. You didn't go to Gainesville and soil yourself against a bad Florida team.
Or go to overtime with Kentucky. Or escape with Mississippi State.
So you want to point at the Ohio State game, and I get you. But how about the games that you should have won or should have played better in that you didn't? It isn't about the Ohio State game. Even though I get why Sarkisian's using that because he wants the committee to understand the importance of strength of schedule. Good. I'm happy you're trying to do that. But the flip side of that, Jay, is if you beat Florida, you're in.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah. A 4-8 Florida team. And he's not wrong. Look, going to Gainesville's hard, and it is. But last year, you needed to win that game. So he didn't do himself any favors. But I come back around to say that not all 9-3s are created equal, and I'm not even here to relitigate whether South Carolina should or shouldn't have gone 2 years ago, because quite honestly, even though the strength of schedule was fantastic, the thing is you were in a group with Alabama and Mississippi, and they both beat you, and they didn't go either.
Right.
So you would have been third in that pecking order regardless. But if we expand this thing, then, you're in. And to your point, Terry, because you're right. What happens when you play a game? One wins and one loses. I get it. But
I'm with you as a fan.
But we have to come off of this notion of well, if you're not 11-1 or 12-0, you don't deserve it. That drives me nuts.
Yeah, I can't do that either.
And we only seem to want to do this as an American sporting public for major college football.
Yeah.
And when I say major college football, again, the FCS and Division II and Division III have 24 schools that go to their playoffs.
Yep.
And they've done it for a while now. I just, and I'm not trying to berate people, but you're listening to someone who is as big a college football fan. If you are one of those people, you're listening to someone right now who is as big a college football fan as you are, I assure you. Me saying that it's okay to lose 3 or 4 games and play for a title isn't heresy in today's world if we do what Coach Saban is proposing. So here's, again, you know me, Terry Ford. When we talk about these things, that's why I say I want to expound on what Nick Saban said. So here's my, and I realize we'd have to revise a few things. But here, because I did this mostly from a South Carolina and Clemson perspective, and here's why. And we can use Georgia and Florida as equals in this. And I guess Kentucky. Maybe even Missouri with Kansas. We're going to drop the 9th game, everybody. Now, here's what. So this would be for 70 schools. We'd find a way to get Oregon State and Washington State back into the Big 12 or something. Okay. We'll find a way. We'll find a way. Everybody plays 8 conference games. That way you've got your 4 and your 4 with the occasional neutral games, but otherwise you're back to 4 and 4, right?
Okay.
Home and away. Everybody plays one team from the other conferences, and then you have what I would call a wild card game. And it's not that somebody draws it for you. It's that you have that little bit of flexibility with your TV partners, with certain matchups to, give us something big opening week or whenever. And that would also not have Carolina and Clemson only have to play each other in their crossover games, because Carolina is going to want to play North Carolina or Georgia Tech. Clemson's going to want to play Georgia, or this year like they are with LSU,
right,
or some such, right? Florida might want to play, Miami. So let's have that flexibility with that last game. Everybody still plays 12. And by the way, that'd be 70 schools. Now, I did the math on the NFL, and the NFL currently, 32 clubs, 14 go to the playoffs, That's like 44%, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay, 44% of the league. If we had 70 schools and you wanted to model it somewhat, now again, some of you are getting ready to have your head explode. So just hold it in check for me, okay? Put it in a vice grip.
Especially if you're driving.
44% of 70 would be 31. So we'd go to 32. Is that too many? Some of you are going, oh, my God, Phillips, you want 32 people out of 70 to go to a college football playoff? If you want to avoid the problem that Terry just mentioned, which says to coaches, you won't be judged solely on wins and losses every single year. This will give you an opportunity. Now, I'd be fine if it were still 16, or if we went to 16, 24, whatever. But if you want to look at something, because, look, hockey and basketball, more than 50% are going to the playoffs. That I do not like.
Even if you took 24, you got 33% are going.
Yeah.
That's still less than a lot of the professional leagues.
Well, and it's still, when you look at basketball or baseball, college, those are both roughly around 20%, man.
So, 24 out of that number.
Not bad.
You make people happy, and you can be a 3-loss team.
But we can do
and get
this.
in.
We can do this as a sporting public. We can do this if we can wrap our minds around the fact that somebody someday is going to have 3 or 4 losses next to them and be a national football champion. And right now, nobody wants to do that because you'd rather beat blah, 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 whomever.
Right.
Ugh. All right. Stay tuned.
Postgame show coming back. Men's Clinic of South Carolina, like always, we discuss that when you're a guy, you're getting older, it just stinks sometimes. Some of the things you go through, things you're not used to, things that you end a lot of this talk with this sentence. I've never had this happen before. What's wrong with me? Whether it's sleeping, you're not as strong as you used to be in the gym, you don't bounce back from workouts like you used to, you don't have that, that extra gear in life anymore. You can't remember things the way you did before. It just whatever it is. There's an avenue to help you. Call the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS. Set the appointment. It's a free consultation with Dr. Dan and the staff. Tell them your story. They'll do a testosterone test and then put you on a program to get you feeling back like you again and just make you feel like a better you. Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Make that call. All right, check on the traffic. So far, no accidents, just a bunch of construction and obviously malfunctioning. That's it so far. The construction, Broad River Road at I-26 and Dutch Fork. Of course, I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road as well. Just the typical stuff. Good job on the roads. Good work for a Friday. I'll get back to the postgame show next, talking SEC Media Days.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say it's the first one. I told him this like last week. It's the only offseason I've had that's gotten harder as the weeks have gone on. Usually, like, you get accustomed to them and all that. It's the only one that's gotten harder as we've gone on.
Lenora Sellers, I think that's a good thing. Welcome back in, Jay and Terry, here on a Friday afternoon as we recap SEC Media Days, including our last segment there, just going over something that Coach Saban pointed out. And again, I'm all for that. But you know, we've I think a lot of people are anxious to see what Lenoris can do with Kendall Briles. I think a lot of people, I'm going to flip that, are anxious to see what Kendall Briles can do with Lenoris Sellers. And I don't think those things, you know, are synonymous. I think there are two different ways to look at it. You know, we heard that cut when Dow Loggins was on a few weeks ago with the midday guys. You know, and like call a play here, but Lenoris might do something different. And so how much structure will there be? Last year, you know, I think we saw more structure, but it wasn't.
How'd that go?
It didn't go well. And, you know, again, Lenoris wasn't having fun last year. Let's just call it what it was.
No, look, here's the thing. And you heard Sellers and you heard Nick Harbor when they sat down with us, of course. Nick Harbor's still best line of media days. You know, they both said basically this offense, they're having fun. There's a lot of options. They're not thinking. They're playing. It's fast. 2 years ago, again, who did Dow learn from? The college game.
Right, Kendall
Briles.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Dow, we want Lenoris to be instinctive, to react, not to be robotic, not too much thinking. You only get these kids for 20 hours a week. We don't want them on the field thinking. We want them reacting and playing and being fast and quick and instinctive. And Lenoris was the opposite of all that last year.
Yeah.
Tyler and I talked to Brooks Austin, the guy that bred the film guy with the YouTube channel. And we were talking about last year, and Brooks Austin was like, why would you do that to Lenoris Sellers? You have this guy who is a playmaker, who does instinctive things on a football field that very few quarterbacks can do. Why are you putting him in there thinking and overthinking and being robotic? And look, Kendall Briles, again, we go back to KJ Jefferson at Arkansas. That year, the 2 years under Kendall Briles, Jefferson was phenomenal. Throwing it, running it. And Lenoris is like Jefferson 2.0. And I just think that this marriage of these two guys, if this offensive line can be healthy and just be solid, I think Lenoris is going to have the best season he's had. I just think he's got a real guy now with him who basically the guy Dow learned from.
Right.
And I think you're going to see more of what Dow had him do. And there's no offense to Dow Loggins, but Kendall Briles is a better OC than Dow Loggins.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And I think that now you have, you had his student, now you have the teacher.
Yeah.
And I just think this thing is going to be really good for Lenoris Sellers. I think good for everybody on that offense. So I'm excited to see this, Jay. I really am.
We don't have the cut. I mean, we got it, but I'm not going to make you go fishing for it right now. But I know that Ryan McGee was on with the guys a couple days ago. I want to just read the quote that he gave when it came to Lenoris and working with Kendall relative to Mike. And he said, it's creativity. I love Mike Shula, nicest guy in the world. He said, we had the most hilarious picture of Mike Shula lighting up my dad on the sideline at a game down in Alabama. Great guy, he says, but it's very much an NFL, not very creative offensive process.
Yep.
And if anything, he says, the only frustration you'll have with Briles is he might try some stuff that you think, what are you doing, dude? You know? And so I think the openness to creativity is what people are going to hopefully see.
Yep.
But he's right on both counts. And that's why I say I'm anxious to see it from both sides. And again, I'm with him. You don't want to keep beating up on Mike Shula, but you have to call it like you see it. And what we saw was just, even if the first few snaps of a game might have something that was, and I'm using air quotes here, creative, ultimately Mike would just fall back into and I'm oversimplifying, as I often do, Terry, to make my point, into like some kind of play action type thing. And it wasn't really pure play action, but it was just, well, hey, let's run the ball at the middle, and we'll roll Norris out.
Or we'll keep him in the pocket, and have him go through progressions
keep him in the pocket,
and
none of it worked because you couldn't run, you couldn't block, and you didn't have time for the plays to develop when you wanted Lenoris to go downfield.
Yeah, and it was just one. Look,
but it was an NFL offense,
right, and
there's nothing wrong with that
for the NFL
if you can run it.
And you're in the NFL. I just think the game is different.
It is. The college game is different.
Dow always talked about this, and I give Dow Logan so much credit for this. You start with the hash marks.
Mm-hmm.
The hash marks are wider. There's more space. It's more of a space game than the NFL. And you have to learn how to manipulate that space and manipulate defenses in that space. And Mike Shula was running an offense that was more NFL type stuff. And again, look, I get you're coming from a good space. Lenoir Sellers, and go through progressions, Lenoir. You got an NFL arm. You can make all the throws. If you go through progressions, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Well, that's great. First of all, like you said, if you're getting pass protection.
Yeah, if you can block.
And two, but the problem is you suck the creativity out of Lenoir Sellers and the instinctiveness, and he got very robotic. And that goes back to something you and I always talk about. The really good offensive coordinators build their offense around the skill of the player. You don't try to make square peg, round hole guy.
Right.
And I think that happened last year. And Mike Shula was coming from a good place, and they always go back to this play, Jay. And so I want to use it because we always heard about it. And Dow brought it up when he was on, but Dow was using it in the opposite. Got a receiver wide open in the Clemson game on 3rd and Sellers. What will Lenoris do?
Yeah.
Took off and scored a touchdown. Yeah. Was there a guy open on the 3rd read of the 3rd progression? Yeah, but guess what? This guy took off with his legs and did something magical. There are going to be times, if you go break down and watch tape with Lenoris, even from 2 years ago, I guarantee you on some of his really nice runs, somebody was open somewhere maybe.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. He plays instinctively. And you take the great plays he makes because he's so instinctive, and you live with the guy that was open down the field he didn't get to because he took off and ran for 12 instead of throwing it downfield for 26. It's going to happen sometimes. And you just have to understand that and let this guy, in the words of people say it today, let this dude cook.
Yeah.
Just let him cook, man. And you'll see a more instinctive, freer player, and you'll get him back to what he was 2 years ago.
Well, again, I'm anxious to see that, and as we all are. But there was a lot of talk about that at Media Days this week from those outside of our realm who I think feel the same way and feel a somewhat, my words here, but feel a disappointment in last year. Not because they're Carolina fans; they're fans of the sport. You're fans of a player who you see as a true gifted talent difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say not allowed, but not able to flourish.
Kind of put in a box, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. You almost put him on display, right? And it's just like, no, that's not what this is about. This is like, or you take you got a really good hunting dog, and you take your hunting dog, and now your hunting dog lives in an apartment in New York.
You walk him.
Not really what your hunting dog's wanting to do, man.
Giving him treats.
That dog wants to go into the woods, and he wants to find those quail and those birds, and he wants to go get them. He wants to go dive in the pond and get that duck. He doesn't want to hang out at the dog park.
Right. He doesn't want to be sitting
Nothing
around.
wrong with the dog park.
Yeah, but after a while you get tired of sniffing and you want to go out there and start running again.
You want to do something, and so maybe that's not the best analogy, but
let him loose, man. Let
Lenoris
him run.
wants to play.
You got to let Lenoris roll. Let him go.
We'll update the poll questions on the other side. Again, headlines of the day coming up, and we have Jay or Nay. You have
Sure.
We have. Well, not sure. No, this is not. I mean, it's
It's back, man.
Okay, that's a
Yeah,
again.
Jay or nay,
I anticipated that an
SEC
8-hour
Media
drive
Days, Jay or nay.
has nothing but all kinds of Jay or nay that you worked on all
That's all I
night.
thought about. I turned my phone off so I wouldn't talk to anybody.
Good.
Turned off the radio,
Sure.
any kind of, YouTube playlist for songs or Spotify, and all I thought about was your Jay or nays for 8 hours.
Well, and we've done our job, and we'll do that next. All right, 12 minutes in front of 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Jay and Terry with you. We were just checking out the menu at Louisiana Purchase. They're one of our great sponsors for Media Days. And I'm not going to lie to you, man. A couple things on here that I like. Maybe they'll bring me something. That's a long way for me to go, but I'll go.
That shrimp po' boy look good, man.
Well, they got two of them. They got a blackened and they got the fried. They got the fried oyster po' boy. I could do that.
That wrap with the prosciutto thing?
That thing, yeah, that looks good. Prosciutto, fig, brie. I love brie.
Brie's good, man.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, you'll have to bring me
I never ate brie till I got older. I never had brie because when I was a kid, that was fancy rich people food. But when I got older, brie's good, man.
Brie's awesome. I love it.
Absolutely, brie is good.
Yeah, that sounds all right. But y'all have to. Do they deliver, Terry?
I don't know that, Jay. We'll have to look that up. They deliver from Irmo here. That's out of your circle of life.
That's a long way for me to go to get lunch. It's a long way to go for lunch.
Oh, you're a funny little fella.
Yeah, well, it's just but it's like 10 or 12 miles from my house, man. That's a long way for lunch.
So, okay, if it was West Columbia, would you go?
Yeah, I mean, like if it's right across the river here, yeah, that's fine. That's only like 3 miles.
Is that okay for you?
Yeah.
What's your cutoff? 5 miles?
For lunch?
Yeah.
Probably. That's 5 miles is a long way, man. If I can't get it within 5 miles for lunch, do I really need it? That's a long way. I mean, for dinner, it's different. I could, but.
Man.
But like lunch, no, man. I guess.
Is Florence like L.A. to you? I mean, is that like.
Atlanta is. Florence isn't so bad. Florence is only like an hour and 10 minutes.
You're okay with that? Would you?
But there's no. I mean, I'm not. I got to be honest with you. I mean, Florence is a fine town. I got plenty of people I got cousins that live in Florence. But I'm going to be honest, Terry. I'm not really asking myself how often I need to get to Florence.
I've probably driven by Florence more in my life than you.
No, you haven't, because we have to go through Florence to go to the in-laws.
You got to go that way to go to the in-laws.
Yeah,
that's right.
No, so I
pass it all the time, man.
Yeah. No, we're
all right. Just checking on you. Yeah. All right, just checking on you.
Yeah.
All right. All
right, what do you got? Jay or nay on distances?
It's been a minute. I got to get back to the groove here of the music. Well, Jay or nay music. It's been a while since we've done this. Yeah. We've been doing a lot of World Cup. There.
I mean, how many people want to go 10 miles for lunch?
If it's good. If it's really good, dude, it's worth it.
Dinner is worth it. No, not lunch.
Not lunch?
That's like an hour plus out of my day, man, just to eat lunch. I just don't have time for that. I'm busy. Like, we go on the air at 3, man.
Well, you get back by 3.
Oh, yeah, but I got to prep. Now you sound like my mom. You don't really have to do anything. You just show up and talk.
Well, what are you doing? You just crack a microphone and yap for 3 hours.
It's like, Mom, I got to work.
All right, here we go. This is Ryan Silverfield, the Arkansas head coach, talking about his aura.
I love it. I never thought coming here today, these last couple of days that people would talk about aura. First off, I don't know what the hell that means. Like I said all along, I don't. If it's about fashion or all that stuff, certainly have no aura. But if it's about having a presence about yourself, those that are around me know that at least I'm a genuine, real dude. And I think you talk to our players, they get a presence around me, they get it. And if aura means being cool, doing all those things, well, listen, I got a hot wife for a reason, right? I mean, I can get down, I can recite, Notorious B.I.G. lyrics. I can recite, whatever you want me to do. Let's go. But I've got enough to find ways to win football games, and that's all that matters.
Ryan Satterfield can recite Notorious B.I.G., and he's got a hot wife. Ryan Silverfield has aura. Jay or nay?
Yeah, Jay. Go for it, Coach. You got it, man. I'm down with that. That's good. Yeah, that's a good answer. Good answer.
I like that answer.
That's a Jay.
I have to admit, that was one of my favorite answers at SEC Media Days.
Well, I'm giving it. I'm not going to say I'm him, right? But I'm doing the same thing. Like, at least you know who you're getting when you're dealing with me, right? Like, at least you know who you're getting. Like, I'm not driving 10 miles for lunch.
10 miles for lunch.
I'm not driving to Tampa for work. But at least you know.
Oh, we know.
At least you know.
And we know Ryan Silverfield, hot wife, can recite some Notorious B.I.G. Yeah.
I can't do Notorious B.I.G., but I can do Run DMC and LL Cool J.
There you go. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's Lane Kiffin about not doing social media. Just a little clip of it.
The question the commissioner mentioned there about social media and Knox. And so I think as I look back over my life, one of the things that has been great is subtracting things as you get older. And I think that's a big part of growth. If you really want to keep growing, a lot of people add things as they go versus subtracting things that are issues, whether that's diet, whether that's, in my situation, alcohol, whether that's things that are subtracted along the way, toxic relationships, things.
All right, so basically, Lane has subtracted social media thanks to his son.
Yep.
Jay or nay, Lane will tweet during the regular season.
I'm going to say nay.
No, you're going to stick with your thing.
I think he's going to stick to it. I mean, unless there's a really positive gain, I wouldn't go back on it now. And I think a lot of people are seeing. I think we're seeing some regression in social media usage. I think a lot of people are getting tired of maybe some of that toxic environment. And so I can appreciate, because no matter what he does on social media, like, he'll get some love and he'll get some hate.
Sure.
And sometimes you just like, you know what? To heck with it.
Well, the thing about it, I've told you and I have had this conversation on the air. A few years ago, I decided how many people, we always hear about Twitter sphere, Twitterverse, and this. It's like, how many people are on this? Roughly about 22 people, or 22% of the country has an active Twitter account.
Yeah.
So we got all these people in media jumping down about Twitter. 78% of the folks in this country don't have an active Twitter account.
That's why I say Twitter's not real, but man, it feels that way sometimes. So just
because our business makes it like it is real. There's
headlines coming up.
How you feel? You good? You back to Jay or nay, man?
That was better. I want to drive 10 miles for lunch now.
Oh, we're still hanging in there on the roads. No accidents. I'm going to refresh this to make sure. No accidents. Just our typical construction, slow traffic around Malfunction Junction. Besides that, clean and clear on the roadways. Nice work. Nice job. Excellent, excellent work. Weather, since we have really not a lot of traffic to talk about. No precip. Temperatures settling about in the 80s through the rest of the afternoon into the evening and dumping down into the 70s. Some rain overnight, though.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Friday. Welcome back in. It's also the final hour of the Postgame Show alongside Terry Ford. I'm Jay Phillips. Thanks so much for being with us. Our long wait is over across the country. LeBron James has chosen the Philadelphia 76ers as what he says will be his final decision. He is now 41 years old, a 2-year, $8 million deal. That's $8 million total, four per, has a player option for a third season. His agent, Rich Paul, told ESPN's Shams Charania that LeBron made nearly $53 million with the Lakers last season. In a couple of tweets, he said, "I was honest at that last press conference when I said I needed to look at myself and decide if I still love this game. After deciding I still truly love this game and I have more to give, he has taken to Philadelphia."
Yeah, I'll say this. Again, you make decisions however you make them. I don't sit here and go, oh, what's wrong with you? Whatever decision he would have made. But what he did do is he said, look, have you seen my bank account? I'm going to concentrate on where can I go to put myself in the best position to cut down nets one more time. Mm-hmm. No offense to Cleveland. Obviously, Golden State's not winning any championships. Cleveland has a nice core, but if you look at the Sixers, with Embiid if he's healthy, you got Jaylen Brown now, you got Tyrese Maxey, you got Edgecombe, the kid, the rookie last year who was really good. Now you add LeBron. It's going to be tougher to find a better starting five in the NBA, and now LeBron took such a team-friendly deals. He had to fit into their exemptions and all that because they didn't have the money to give LeBron. No. So if he truly wanted to go make money, he would have done it different. He wanted to go try to see if he can get himself a championship. He said, you know what? I think my bank account's full. The money is whatever. I want to come play and see in this next 2 years, can we go win a championship? So he went championship hunting, Jay. If he gets it or not, I don't know, but he decided, screw the money. Let's go see if we can win another title.
I think I heard it. I think it was on Dan Patrick this morning. I think I was listening to a couple of different things this morning, but I'm pretty sure it was on Dan Patrick that one of the guys said, in terms of the merchandising, like in a way to just pay LeBron more, all of the merchandising for LeBron Sixer jerseys goes to LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. Or give him like a big cut of the jersey sales.
But he said, this is my last decision. I'm not going for the money. I'm not going for family. What am I really playing for at this point? I still want to sacrifice. I still want to work. I still want to grind. I still want to compete to win and have a chance at the feeling of winning another championship. I believe I can help make the Philadelphia 76ers a championship team, and I'm excited to energize a new fan base and start this incredible journey one last time. So there you go. LeBron will be a Sixer. Again, it's a 2-year deal with a player option for a third. If he were to complete 3 years, he would end at nearly 45 years old. He is currently 41 years old.
It's insane how well he plays at 41 years old.
He's in fantastic shape. Look, and you mentioned the guys they have. He will not be – you're not depending on LeBron to play 40-something minutes a night. And certainly there will be nights where he doesn't play. the East is loaded. You know, Miami just got better with Giannis. We know the Knicks just won a championship. As you mentioned, Cleveland's good. Detroit's good. Boston, of course, you know, now that Jaylen Brown's down there, I mean, that's a whole different animal. But Boston will still be Boston. I don't know about anybody else really.
But here's the thing, though.
Contending.
The East has good teams, but the East doesn't have, like, teams on the level of the West. The West has, to me, the best teams. Like, we look at San Antonio, Oklahoma City. The Sixers, again, with that starting five, again, depth's going to be a thing. Obviously, you got to be able to have depth. But that starting five you can roll out there is pretty nice. And, you know, you look at LeBron really quick in L.A. last year. If you look at shots taken per game, he was about even with Austin Reeves. Luka Doncic took 23 a game. LeBron and Austin Reeves are right around 15. So LeBron backed up a little bit in usage rate is what you call it. So he's going to go to Philly. Like I said earlier in the show, guys are going to have to sacrifice shots.
Yeah.
But if you sacrifice shots, you move the ball, and your offense kicks. I mean, Philly's defense middle of the pack last year, but they could have a really good offense, Jay, if these guys sacrifice some of theirs for the good of the cause. You got a lot of dudes.
They'll find a way. And again, LeBron is an excellent facilitator
Great
and
passer.
distributor. So
and that might be where this thing goes is you might point forward with LeBron. You might run the offense through LeBron at the forward spot. It's going to be interesting to see how the Sixers do this.
Yeah, but there you go, LeBron. And again, the happiest person on earth right now is Don Staley.
And by the way, is there
congrats, Coach.
Is there a more positive fan base to go finish your career?
Going to Cleveland. If you wanted that, you go to Cleveland, right? And if you want the wine and cheese crowd, you go either stay in L.A. or you go up the coast to San Francisco and play for the Dubs. I really don't think he wanted to go back to Cleveland. I still think the LeBron brand matters, and you need to maybe showcase that in a big market.
And don't you feel like you've been there, done that with Cleveland? You went back out of the championship. If you go back and don't get them one now, you did what you grew up to do.
You made
right?
that return.
Yes.
Like I wouldn't make a third return.
No.
Because we've now seen LeBron as a journeyman kind of a guy of sorts. I don't want to put that label on him because journeyman usually means a guy who's coming off the bench and giving you 12 minutes a night. But he's had the journey. I mean, from Cleveland to Miami to Cleveland to L.A.
He's been a championship hunter.
Yeah,
is what he's been.
But you know what? He's bagged them,
and he's gotten them in every stop. And he's got a chance. Look, in Philly, they got a chance. Again, you got to see how the roster ends up. But you look at that starting five.
Well, he's older. Embiid gets hurt. I love Brown. They got parts, man.
They do. If they can.
But it's got to come together.
Here's the other thing, too. Embiid, you can play him less minutes, save the wear and tear on Embiid. He doesn't have to do everything or a lot of things. Now you have 4 other guys, Jay, who can look at Embiid and go, hey, dude, just kind of take the night off. We're good here.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be compelling.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
SEC Media Days has concluded, and the preseason media vote is in. Georgia has been picked to win the Southeastern Conference over Texas, Mississippi 3rd, A&M 4th, LSU 5th. Then it's Alabama in 6th, followed by Oklahoma, Tennessee, Florida, and Missouri. South Carolina, number 11, Auburn 12th, and your final Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. Georgia, again, picked as the overall champion and picked to beat Texas in the SEC championship game. Other schools that did get championship votes: Mississippi was 6, A&M with 5, Bama 3, Oklahoma and LSU 2. And somebody thought it'd be fun to pick Kentucky.
Hey, you know what I'm going to do for fun?
Well, yeah, it's just...
I'll go pick Kentucky.
Somebody was just, and again...
Nobody's ever done this before.
Find out who that person is. We'll give you the preseason all-SEC teams coming up in just a little bit as part of the drive around the SEC. And in our Gamecock Notebook coming up next segment, we'll give you some of the highlights of what the Gamecock players and Coach Beamer had to say. Staying with our headlines of the day, no judgments here, just this is news. Tony Romo has been arrested in Milwaukee on suspicion of DUI. According to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, Romo performed poorly on field sobriety test after being stopped on I-43 last night. They say he was taken into custody, booked, and released. He will appear in court in Milwaukee on September 21st. He grew up in the area. Mm-hmm. And was back home. Of course, he's making a lot of money as CBS lead NFL analyst. So
world we live in, man. Call an Uber.
Yeah,
Just call an Uber.
So
not tough.
But we'll see. Tony Romo.
Not tough.
Today, Michael Kim shot the 15th ever 59 up in the Twin Cities at the 3M Open. He made a 24-foot putt for birdie to go under 60. Birdied the final 4 holes, his first bogey-free round to get to 14 under for the tournament. It's the 4th 59 on tour since 2004. Jake Knapp did it last year. Jim Furyk holds the tour record with a 58 that he shot 10 years ago at the Travelers in Connecticut. 59.
59, man.
I shot 59 a bunch.
One on a hole?
On EA Sports Golf. I got really good at it, man.
Nice. A 59 at EA Sports.
Yeah, I'm good.
I probably knock a 59 down in the first 3 holes.
I could. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had a 9-hole 59 before, but that'd be pretty tragic.
Yeah,
not gonna lie. I've had some bad ones.
So you were a golfer at one point.
Well, I wouldn't say a golfer, but I did. There was in the 90s. In the 90s, I played golf about twice a week.
Yeah, you played a decent amount. You played more golf in a month than I played in my life. But I've played probably 7-8 times maybe.
Really, ever?
Ever.
Oh wow.
People would invite me to go and I go play.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting, I think I told you a story real quick. I'll make it 15 seconds. There was a guy in Youngstown, Ohio, who I worked with who had rented out my attic because I had enough space in my attic in my house to make like a bedroom or like a little small like apartment or something. And he would pay me like $100 a month, whatever. But he would pay me at times in gear. And his dad was left-handed. His dad had these old clubs that Bagger Vance gave him. And he's like, and my buddy was a big golfer. He's like, dude, play golf with me. I don't have clubs. He goes, all right, if I get you some clubs, you play golf? He goes, yeah, I'll go give you my dad's clubs for a month's rent. I said, good. My girlfriend at the time wanted to slap me in the head. Where's our $100? Well, I got golf clubs. I used those and played. I probably played in that period of time like 7 or 8 times.
Okay.
And I was awful, terrible, pathetic, putrid, terrible. I did tell you that time. Some guy showed up once and we did this like charity event in Wisconsin, and somebody dragged me out. This guy has Tiger Woods gear on and all this cool stuff, and I beat him.
Yeah.
And they said the next like that weekend he sold all his stuff and quit playing.
Makes sense.
Because that was terrible.
Makes sense. Well,
Anyway,
but he looked good,
sir.
right? He looked good.
Yeah, he looked.
But
he looked smashing.
Yeah, but way to go, Michael Kim.
Nice, man.
Again, the 15th ever 59 on the PGA Tour. Braves are back at it tonight. They've won 5 of their last 7. They will head to Baltimore to take on the Orioles. Grant Holmes goes tonight for the Braves. Trevor Rogers for the O's.
Trevor's been on a heater lately, just to let you know.
Okay.
Trevor's been pitching really well, which means your Braves will get him for 8 runs.
Let's see. Grant is 6-4 with a 3.70. Trevor Rogers on the season 6-7 with a 4.28. But good news for Braves fans is that Austin Riley has begun to heat up.
They
just
need
a little
him.
bit. So he's swinging the bat well. Sean Murphy is starting his rehab assignment, and Ronald Acuna is expected to be activated maybe even over the weekend. We shall see. He had a game. They thought he had hurt himself yesterday at Gwinnett, but it ended up that he just kind of caught a cleat and was kind of hobbling for a second, but it wasn't actually an injury. But for initially, people were like, oh, God, he got hurt again. But he's fine.
We talk about this. The trading deadline really is the additions to the Braves are adding a healthy Ronald Acuna Jr. and getting Austin Riley to start hitting like Austin Riley. If you can get those 2 things, that's like trade deadline additions,
Absolutely.
to be quite honest.
Absolutely. And again, Acuna's been hurt twice this year, so there's that. And again, getting Sean Murphy's bat back into at least onto the bench. But because right now the Braves they've had to dig down into the Gwinnett lineup, and I'll be honest with you that they have won 6 of their last 10, and again 5 of 7, considering some of the things that are happening to them. And Bryce Elder looked good the other day.
And he'd been struggling, man. He had been scuffling.
Well, and that's kind of been his MO the last few years, is hot starts and then fade. Chris Sale was fantastic the other day. But Braves have currently a 4.5 game lead in the East over the Philadelphia Phillies.
They had a little trouble with those Dodgers.
They did. The Dodgers are pretty good. And now the Phillies are hosting the New York Yankees this weekend up in Philadelphia. That's our integrated media headlines of the day. We'll come back on the other side. Gamecock Notebook, highlights from Carolina's appearances at SEC Media Days. It's the Postgame Show. Griffin Pools and Spas ready to keep you nice and comfortable in the summer. Heck, in the winter, if you get that pool heated or whatever you need when it comes to a brand new pool, or in the winter with a hot tub or spa. They've been doing it since 1976, y'all. The late, great Stanley Griffin, who founded the company, started this because he built his own pool. It was like, man, that's a good pool. I'm going to do this for a living. Now, 50-plus years later, family-owned and operated Griffin Pools and Spas, still making families all across the Midlands feel just like Stanley did all those years ago. Custom pool design, you dream it, they can help you build it. You know, if you've seen something in a magazine or somebody's house or, you know, at a resort, and say, hey, can I get something like that at my house? Yeah, you can. Maybe you just want to be a little more budget conscious and have an above-ground pool. They'll help you out with that, too. Saltwater pools that are low maintenance and help everything just run a lot more smoothly. Plus, they'll stay with you throughout every step of the process to make sure that you and your family are happy. Stop in and see them, North Lake Drive, steps away from the dam, and online at griffinpoolsandspas.com.
Coach, you talk all the time about, this team maybe playing its best when being overlooked or doubted. Is the narrative around this team kind of playing right into that for this upcoming season again?
Y'all just keep talking about what you've been talking about, the local media, the national media. We'll just keep working on the football facility, and we'll see you in September. How about that?
Fair enough.
Hey, Tyler gave it the old college
He
try.
tried.
He gave it the old college try.
He tried. And that was interesting because I was sitting there yapping with Cloninger at SEC Media Days. I said, David, do you think, remember 2 years ago, Shane leaned into remember, because South Carolina caught that 5-7. They had lost Rattler. They were picked near the bottom of the SEC. And, Shane got up and was like, I get it. But, you're using it. We're motivated by where we're at and blah, blah, blah. And I said, David, what do you think? He won't do it. He's not going to do it this time. And he didn't. He didn't do it. He did not lean into that. We're being disrespected, or we're not being this, or we're not being that. Because to be honest with you, Jay, I don't think they're being disrespected. I mean, you're a 4-8 football team last year, and you got picked in the top 12 of the preseason. Yeah. A lot of people are giving you love that you could be a surprise team or a bounce-back team or whatever. I don't think there's, and I hate using this word, there's a disrespect card out there at all for South Carolina for a team that finished 4-8, Jay Phillips.
Yeah, I mean, you can couch it a couple of different ways, but I'm with you. You could say, if you were Shane or one of his coaches, to the guys, hey, they don't believe in us. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean you're being disrespected.
No,
and there's some schools who seem to want to just constantly if they they don't hear what they like. Alabama's going to probably play a disrespect card.
Yeah, if you're Kalen DeBoer, you would lean into a little disrespect.
I don't. But some schools do that better than others, if you will, and play. With all due respect, a lot of times Clemson plays a disrespect card. Now, most of the time, Clemson actually gets the respect. This year, there might not be as much belief, and it'll be, well, they're disrespecting us. I think all of these preseason picks, to your point from a minute ago, are most often based on what you did and what comes back. Mm-hmm. And while there can be a lot of genuine excitement, like, for instance, I wouldn't say it was a disrespect thing, but I saw some guy who covers Mississippi State say, well, let him feel that. And it's just some guy that covers them. I'm like, all right, first off, you don't be a fan.
Right.
But, this team could be better than 15th. Well, okay, but here's the thing. You got to fill all 16 slots. Mm-hmm. So somebody's going to be first, and somebody's going to be eighth, and somebody's going to be last, and everybody's going to be in between.
Right. You want to look at that guy and go, what has Mississippi State done since Mike Leach died that makes you think they shouldn't be picked near the bottom of the SEC?
Yeah. And if you want to say, well, hey, we pushed Texas, okay, that's great.
All right. Well, it's a 12-game season, yeah. Chief. I just look at it like...
Or something to that effect. And I like Jeff Lebby. And look, listen, that'll be a big game for them when they come here. And Carolina better win that game.
I'll
say that much.
I think South Carolina, if we're talking about it right now today to fill air, I think they should win that game. But that kid, the quarterback, the kid Taylor... He's got a ton of physical ability. He's one of those guys, Jay, 1 minute he makes a play that makes your jaw drop, and the next minute he makes a mistake that makes your jaw drop.
Yeah. Kamario Taylor. And I'll tell you what not now, but during the drive around, because there's a good cut from Jeff Lebby about him that we'll get to. You have these by number up there from the other day, correct?
Yep, I believe.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
I hope so at this point. Number 29 from Shane Beamer. You have that one?
About the roster?
I have here what had to change to make it better. That's what I have? Yes.
I believe that's it. Let's try. We'll find out. We'll find out, Jay.
I'm pulling for you.
It's like spinning a wheel.
Yeah, we needed to get older. If you look back at that 24 team, we had a lot of older guys on that team. We had a lot of seniors that had played a lot of football for us. If you look back at last year's team, I think we only had 4 seniors that started for us total on last year's team. So for me as the head coach, it was making sure that we got older. We brought in some transfers that have played a lot of football at a lot of places, so we increased the experience. That was one thing that I, as a head coach, can control. You know, we've tweaked some things with how we do things in the offseason, practice, things like that. But you do that after every season. You're introspective and look at how you can be better. But we've been very intentional about getting better. We've gotten older, like I said, and certainly when you have the season that we had, that's on me. And I did not do a good enough job last year, to say the least. So you're always looking at every game, how can you be better the next week? Every season, how can you be better the next year? And last year to this year was no different.
So, yeah, look, all of you know the narrative around this ball club and all the changes that were made and the additions brought in, both on the coaching staff and some really key transfer pieces as well. We can boil it down, though, real simply. South Carolina better be able to run the football effectively. And that comes from blocking and everything else, too.
You got a bunch of guys who have had a lot of starts on the offensive line, not here, but in their careers. So you do have that veteran older crew on the O-line who has started a lot of games.
South Carolina last year, 119th in the country in rush yards per game. 119th in the country. So basically only about 20 schools were worse than you. Not even 20 were worse than you.
Yep.
Last year. So that you know, is it just that simple? No. But how much pressure does that take off Lenoris? How much pressure does that take off Clayton White in the defense? If you can control the clock, if you can get a few first downs, grind it out. You know, what more do you do in those games like Bama and A&M? What difference does that make late in Baton Rouge or in Como? You know, those are things that you really 119th in the country in running the football.
And if you think about it for a minute, look, you're always better when you can do more things well. I mean, if defensive coordinators have to prepare for you throwing it and running it, and you're balanced and you can attack, you can be physical, all these other things, you're just tougher to defend. So, yeah, running the ball just gives you another weapon in your pocket, and especially if you use that quarterback of yours, which they say they're going to use on the ground this year.
You want to do that one real quick, and then we'll get to Nick Harbor?
Oh, where's that one? Quick,
number 31.
Oh, no, I got to go back. Oh, stall. Make it sing. I got it. Ready?
Yeah.
Using Sellers running.
Yes.
31.
Yeah, I think we'd be crazy not to utilize Lenoris's legs. I mean, he's a load to bring down. And do we want him running the ball 40 times a game? No. But I think what makes Lenoris great is his ability to throw the ball and run the ball. So will there be some design runs for Lenoris? Absolutely. Will there be some plays that break down from a protection standpoint that he needs to improvise and make plays with his feet? I'm sure there will be. But, yeah, that's a weapon. And we'd be remiss, in my opinion, if we don't utilize what makes Lenoris Sellers great, and his legs are a big part of it.
Amen. Just didn't see enough of it last year for a variety of reasons.
No, we did not.
For a variety of reasons. All right, let's get to one from Nick Harbor here.
50, right?
Yes, number 50. Thank you, sir. This is Nick Harbor on Kendall Briles coming in, and what Nick feels this offense could do.
Yeah, Coach Briles, I mean, he's just been a blessing to us. He's allowed us the opportunity to play free. And when I say play free, I mean he's giving us options in our own routes. Like you can have 3 options in one route depending on what you see, and that's just the beauty of that offense. Is it's high, it's fast, it's high octane. It's like a Ferrari. You know, you get in, you just go, and that's what we've learned, and that's what we took it in. But I mean, like the spring was so fun, just to learn that and just to be able to play like that. Like that's some of the best ball I've ever played. Some of the best ball anybody has seen me play in Columbia, and it's just. I just can't wait for the fans to see it. I just can't wait for the fans just to see all of us working and just the hard work that we have did and put into this offense. You know, just from the whole receiver room, just competing with each other. And I just speak on my receiver room too. Is man, all right, we got a great group of guys, and it's like everybody just goes in there, they just work, and they just work. They make me better every single day.
Nick.
That was good stuff from Nick Harbor the other day. And, you know, it harkens back, Terry, to a conversation I remember you and I having a couple seasons ago when Tennessee went to the playoff. And I forget which writer now did that deep dive into the Heupel offense and the route tree. And I remember you telling me, like, you got to read this and just getting into it. And Kendall Briles is doing something similar, and to the point Nick made about, basically at times having 3 options within one route. Mm-hmm. And Josh Heupel's offense allows that. And what it does is not only does it free up, as Nick pointed out, the receiver to make his own decisions and what he feels is best in the moment, but it keeps a defense having to guess in terms of what may happen, which keeps them on their heels, which frees up more of the space that you've been talking about, which allows sometimes, if things are going on in the route tree and you're running the ball, to free those things up, or again, just to keep defenses on their toes. So I again mentioned it earlier, and we'll talk about it, my goodness, for a lot here as we get to August and August camp. Just being anxious to really see what this offense is going to look like with these athletes, because you got some guys.
Yeah.
And again, last year you didn't block much, but you also were running just something that was really vanilla.
I think the thing about last year, too, and I know, look, we know the offensive line was a ginormous. The number 1, 2, and 3 things that were a problem last year were the offensive line, and offensive line. But also, it's like, what are you doing schematically to help your players?
Right.
What are you doing schematically we always say this, to make the defense make bad decisions? Right. And we just didn't see enough. It's like, well, we're going to run the play like this, like we always do. Well, it's not working. Now what are you going to do? Run the play like we always do.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It just got into the same trap time after time. That's the Gamecock Notebook for this Friday. We'll come back with a drive around the SEC. We already told you that Georgia's been picked to win it all, but who did the media pick as their preseason all-conference performers? We'll do that next. British Bulldog Pub, ready to help you have a great time at your next ball game when you're out watching, whatever it might be. Not a whole lot going on right now, I know, but start thinking ahead to the fall, whether you are a big soccer fan, American football, Saturdays, Sundays, Monday night, Thursday night, every night of the week they got football on, they'll have it at the British Bulldog Pub. And the food is absolutely fantastic. Beer list, always updated with the latest and greatest. Check some of these things out. Listen, I've said before, I can eat my weight in sausage rolls. They make the dough homemade, stuffed with that amazing English sausage. They've also got the vegetable samosas, very English treat. I love those. The Bulldog sampler lets you taste a little bit of everything. We were talking about brie earlier. They do an amazing baked brie, again, in that homemade puff pastry. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Irish egg rolls are fantastic. And again, dinners, whether it's pasties, anything else, they got it all for you at the British Bulldog Pub. Check them out.
Still a clean ride this afternoon. No accidents. No cars broken down blocking lanes. Just our typical congestion at Malfunction Junction and also our typical road construction around the Midlands. That's been it. Fine work today, driving the highways. Tonight, weather around 80, dipping into the 70s as we get through the overnight. Chance of rain overnight as well. Overall, nice work on the roadways. We'll come back. Drive Around the SEC is next here on the Postgame Show. Hear from Kirby Smart, also Jeff Levy, Steve Sarkisian, and that is next on the Postgame Show on the Game.
It is Drive Around the SEC time. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you here on this Friday. Once again, SEC Media Days wrapped up. Predicted order of finish sees Georgia voted as the champion once again of the SEC. Picked to play Texas in the SEC title game. South Carolina was picked the 11th. How's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Cool stat.
Yeah.
Only 10 times since 1992 has the predicted champion prior to the season actually win the SEC.
Oh, Steve Spurrier used to love reminding the media that they never got it right.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's tough.
It's tough, man. So South Carolina, go ahead, continue. South Carolina 11.
South Carolina 11. I was just going to say. So we've done a lot of that. And again, somebody picked Kentucky to win the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, that guy.
I got to agree. I just say so funny.
Yeah.
That's going to be funny.
The media has also voted first, second, and third team all-conference performers. I'm not going to read all of them, but I will give you the first team rundown, then a few particulars across the board. Trinidad Chambliss voted first team quarterback. Behind him, his teammate Kejuan Lacey and Missouri's Ahmad Hardy. At receiver, Cam Coleman of Texas, Ryan Coleman-Williams of Alabama. Tight end is Trey'Dez Green from LSU. The offensive lineman, Trevor Gooseby of Texas, Caden Green of Missouri, Jordan Seaton at LSU, and Ernest Green from Georgia, Drew Bobo of Georgia. First-team center, Mario Craver, is the all-purpose offensive performer on the first team from A&M. On defense, Colin Simmons, Will Eccles, Dylan Stewart, and Prince Umamielen are your defensive linemen. Whit Weeks of LSU, Xavier Atkins of Auburn, and Rasheem Biles of Texas, your linebackers. And in the defensive backfield, Georgia's K.J. Bolden, Xavier Brown from Alabama, Bray Hubbard from Bama, and Ellis Robinson from Georgia. So pretty heavy Georgia-Bama contingent on that one. Your specialists, first team, Tate Sandell, the place kicker from Oklahoma, Grant Chadwick, the punter from LSU, Ryan Niblett, the returner from Texas. The kickoff specialist is also Tate Sandell. He can boom them through the end zone, Terry Ford.
How about that guy?
And Ben Anderson likes to snap so that Tate Sandell can kick. He is also at Oklahoma. Long snapper. The preseason first team.
I watched a lot of film on the long snappers in the offseason.
Again, that's why a lot of guys don't vote. Couple of particulars. The second-team quarterback, Arch Manning from Texas. Third-team quarterback, Gunnar Stockton from Georgia. Second-team running backs are Jaden Baugh from Florida and Nate Frazier from Georgia. And then third-team, Deshaun Bishop from Tennessee and Hollywood Smothers from Texas.
Nick Harbor on the
I was going to say, Nick Harbor is a third-team wide receiver. Those, by the way, Dylan Stewart, Nick Harbor, the only Gamecocks to make the list.
I voted, again, not in the top like 3 or 4, but I did put a vote in for Jacarius Peak in the offensive line.
Yep.
Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, I think if he is healthy, he's going to have a really good year. He was one of my last defensive tackles, and I picked one of my last DBs as Vakari Swain.
Right.
I think Vakari Swain's going to have a nice
I think he's going to, and again, these are preseason picks, so what really matters is when you go play football, and then people vote again. So that's the one that's going to count. Gunnar Stockton is, again, third team, and Kirby Smart, again, in Georgia, picked to win the whole conference yet again. Here's Kirby Smart on why he is a big believer in his quarterback.
And, one's a returner. It's very rare to get a second SEC Media Days. Gunnar Stockton is doing that. He embodies what leadership is, and he doesn't do it through his mouth. We can't get the guy to talk half the time. But when he gets around the players, they know. They see the toughness he plays with. He embodies our program. Just love everything he stands for. Quick story about Gunner. We took a leadership group to go whitewater rafting this offseason. We went up into North Carolina to go whitewater rafting, and they said, okay, who's going to be at the front of the boat? They explained that this was the most risky position, that you got to get on the front of the boat. You may fall out. When you go over a rapid, you'll be nose down, and you're the first to go down into the water. Obviously had a life jacket. Obviously we made it as safe as we possibly could. But he chose to jump into that seat. And I think that says a lot about who he is. He leads from the front. He takes hits. He embodies everything our program's about in toughness and culture and the love for his university. So
good stuff. By the way, I don't know if they went to the Nantahala Outdoor Center to go rafting or not, but I got to tell you, man, that is fun. You ever done that?
Rafting?
Yeah, whitewater rafting.
One time, it was a blast. I loved it.
I went to high school up that way, and I went to summer camp up that way. So we went over there a few times. Man, it is.
Two things I really dug, and I want to do them both again. One is, well, I can talk about for legal reasons. One is whitewater rafting.
Yeah.
And two is zip lining.
Zip lining
for my
is.
birthday,
I've done, now there's tons of places up in Western North Carolina now to go do that.
Zip lining is a blast.
Yeah. Now, my kids I've never been, but two of my daughters have been to Costa Rica, and they do like those super long ones, like over the jungle.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah, and I want to go do that. But there's a couple of places down near Brevard apparently that are pretty wide open when it comes to
that'd be good
to zip lining. But going on the Nantahala,
whitewater rafting and zip lining are very cool.
But any of you that have done it know what I'm talking about, man. But it's and it is. It depends. Listen, I've never done the super intense.
Oh no, I've never done the deliverance
I'm not doing
thing.
that.
No.
And I did like the Curry said. We had him in a life jacket. It was safe.
Yeah.
And you can wear helmets and stuff.
Right.
That's good.
It's fun though, man.
I think they make you. I wanted to tell. When Kirby said that, I was like, well, they make you wear a life jacket.
Right.
It's not a voluntary.
It's not like voluntary.
It's not voluntary.
Go to stock doing.
Okay,
I'll wear one.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I guess
it's not voluntary.
Yeah, it's not like they tie you to the front of it. Like remember Road Warrior where they tied the hostages on the front of the trucks.
Yeah, no,
that's not the same thing.
Yeah. Steve Sarkisian was again picked second behind the Georgia Bulldogs. And last year didn't make it. And he wasn't real happy about that. We got number 25. Here's what we're doing.
Yep.
This is Steve Sarkisian. Just where's their head, the Texas Longhorns?
I don't know if it's a new one. I just think there's a more committed one. I think that this group holistically is committed to the mission of being a champion. And they're not just saying it, right? It's not about what we say, it's about what we do, and their actions are showing it. These guys are committed, they're helping one another, they're working with one another, they're holding each other accountable, and I'm very proud of them for that, because that's not an easy thing to do in college when people are making NIL and they're 18 to 22-year-old men, but these guys have committed to that as part of their journey, and that starts with Colin and Arch and Trevor, but that goes to Jelani McDonald, Ty Anthony Smith, Rasheem Biles, Ryan Wingo, all the people we've been touching on. So that's not easy. They're doing it. I'm proud of them, and I think they'll reap the benefits of it come the fall.
And again, there's a lot of pressure on Texas. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of belief in Texas, but there are, with a couple of wins, again, last year against Kentucky and Mississippi State, I think that's one of the things that had a lot of people kind of doubting Texas. You lost at Florida, and you escaped a couple others. Georgia beat you.
Well, you barely survived. You almost blew that big lead against Vandy.
Yeah, I mean, so you had you weren't great last year.
No,
and yet you were 9-3, but you weren't great.
And this year, look, they're loaded. They went out and they got Cam Coleman, who's first team All-SEC. They got him in the portal from Auburn. You got Raleek Brown. You got Hollywood Smothers in the transfer portal, the two running backs from NC State and Arizona State. You went out and got Biles, the linebacker from Pitt. You got Colin Simmons coming back off the edge. It is arguably the most talented roster in college football. The thought process for the folks in Austin, Texas are A, finally knock off Georgia and win the SEC, but more importantly, B, play for that trophy.
Yeah, you got to play for the title.
You got to play for the trophy.
Yeah, you got to get into that. So, one more real quick here from Jeff Levy. The Gamecocks will see Mississippi State in Week 3, conference opener for both schools. And Kamario Taylor, a brilliant young talent. And Jeff Levy says his quarterback has no ceiling.
Feeling on K1. He's a special young man. He's a special talent, but he's a special young man. We're going to be incredibly aggressive from an install standpoint, the way this guy retains, the way he goes about his business on the day-to-day to be able to prepare to put himself in position to go have success in between the white lines. It's elite. And that's one of the things I'm probably most excited about. For him, I would like to think that if you asked him his number one goal this year, the first thing is to start a minimum of 13 games. That means stay healthy. That means not take unnecessary hits and finding ways to get down, to get out of bounds, and understanding it's about the next play. So I'm incredibly excited. I'm proud of who he is and how he's led. For being a young guy, man, he doesn't act young, and he does. He got a big-time future, and really excited about what he's going to be able to do for us.
Fun fact, Jeff Levy is Kendall Briles' brother-in-law.
How about that? Another fun fact.
Some of you may have known that, but
Tyler proudly met Nick Saban in the bathroom twice. I met Jeff Levy in the bathroom yesterday.
Congratulations.
That's where you go meet coaches, man, in the bathroom.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I just don't know. I can't quite find it. That's the drive around the SEC. We'll give you the final results on our poll questions when the post-game show returns. Welcome back in. Final few minutes of the postgame show on this Friday. Do you plan to sleep all weekend after last night's drive and after everything you did, or are you going to do yard work and like be a regular dude this weekend?
Bro.
Yeah?
Back in the car after this is over. 8 hours north, babe.
Oh, my God.
Uh-huh.
That means you got to come 8 hours south, too.
Yep. On Sunday night. Yep.
Do you enjoy self-punishment, or?
I said, I don't mind driving. Driving doesn't bother me.
But it's just a long time. Yeah. We need to get you like a NetJets subscription. Like a golfer. Everything you do, we can just put NetJets on it. They'll get you some plane trips, man. We need.
I could do that. That would not bother me at all.
Get Josh on that.
You know what? I'm going to work on.
Tell Josh to call NetJets.
Hey, Dreamy, I got an idea for you. I'll do endorsements all day long.
Josh Yellman is one of our great salespeople here.
Dreamy Josh.
Yeah. So he'll make it happen. He knows people.
Yeah, Josh does know people.
You get every shirt you have can say NetJets.
My car.
Put a hat.
I'll wrap my car in NetJets.
Get a tattoo, maybe.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, hey, if they're
NetJet, on my neck, a NetJet tat on my neck.
Yeah, we just gave NetJets a lot of free air, by the way.
Yeah, we sure did. That alone was.
There's
worth
one trip right there.
There
you go. That's worth it.
That alone, babe. I'm in.
All right. Final poll results before we get a little Jay versus the internet. Let me get back to this if my computer will cooperate. First off, BetMGM has released updated over-under win totals for the college football season. They have the Gamecocks at 6.5. Which way are you going? Final results right at 83% over, 17% under. And our good friend Will King has one. Now, he's got his run until tomorrow, but he asked Gamecock fans, you can have full rights and revenue to one brand. Which do you choose? Carolina, USC, or SC? 55.7% of you chose USC. Kind of surprised by that. 35.7 Carolina, just 8.6 for SC. I'd have chosen Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. But they got that north of the border. They corner that market, don't they?
Kind of, yeah, I guess.
A little bit.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. But there you go. Good question from Will. All right, what do you got for me?
Move that out of the way. You ready?
Yeah. Do we have music? Yeah, we have music.
Of course we do.
Okay.
Oh, Jay versus we got to hit Major League Baseball because that's...
Braves Orioles. Should we have made a bet on this? It's too late now?
Yeah, it's too late now. We could have dropped a little something on it.
Winner makes crab cakes.
There you go.
Man, we had some fresh crab meat the other day down at the beach. Made crab cakes. Bro.
When you make crab cakes with no filler?
Very little filler.
Very little? That's
very
good,
little.
Man. Very little filler?
Very little.
Good.
Yeah.
That was my birthday. That was my... Every other year, for my birthday dinner, I go get crab cakes at this one restaurant in Boulder.
Yeah, when people just make it like when it's all just the breading and then there's like a few shreds of crab, I'm like, that's not a crab cake.
That's not a crab cake. That's a bread cake. Not crab cake.
No, we did a good ratio. They were good, man.
Yeah, I do, man.
They were good.
Yeah, love good crab cake. All right, let's see. Tonight, we'll forget the Orioles and Braves. We'll go to Phillies, Yankees in Philadelphia.
Yankees.
We're done there. Very nice. Well, it's Yankees plus 115 and the Phillies minus 138.
Yeah, Yankees.
Just go Yankees.
I'm just picking the
Doesn't
Yankees.
matter. Go Yankees.
I hate the Phillies, so go Yankees.
Well, I mean, they got Cam Schlittler on the mound. They got to watch how I say that.
Careful, FCC violation.
They got to watch it. That'll be like John Summerall.
They don't need that.
And Jose Lozado taking the mound for the Phillies. I mean, Yankees. Well, Cam's had a nice year. So we'll see.
Yankees.
Going Yankees? Your favorite team, the Mets. Sean Manaea taking the hill against Rory Sasaki of the Dodgers. Games in New York. Dodgers, by the way, 34-19 on the road this year.
Yeah, Dodgers are good. Dodgers.
And the Mets at home, 21-28.
The Mets.
And they're the Mets.
The Mets are the Mets, man.
And the Mets are the Mets. Another team that was chasing the Braves for a while, but's gone to a funk, the Marlins.
Yeah, they're on a skid.
Marlins at home, hosting the Padres. You never know what you get from the Padres from day to day.
Well, I saw that. I mean, the Braves just beat the Padres 3 out of 4. Marlins at home.
Marlins, by the way, are a good home team. 31-20, and Padres on the road, 23-29.
Marlins at home.
Interesting. Very interesting. I'll leave you with this one.
Okay.
National League side. The Giants and the Angels in interleague play. The first year for our buddy Tony has not gone well.
Well, he's got very little to work with.
42-60, 22-25 at home. The Angels are pathetic on the road at 17-34. Basically, you've got putrid and more putrid.
Yeah. Giants.
Yeah. You know, I wonder at the end of because you're right. That roster Tony Vitello was handed.
Not good.
Not very good.
Not good.
So it's going to be very interesting once this season's over, the narrative coming out of San Francisco.
Tennessee volunteer head coach.
They did him no favors.
Tony Vitello.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be back.
It's going to be interesting.
You heard it here first.
It's going to be interesting.
Y'all have a great weekend.
Have a good one. Thanks for your week. We appreciate you watching, listening. Have a good weekend. Talk to you Monday.